opposite direction since that game.
Absolutely, Jacob. And we'll start with the Red Rams, of course, starting the season so far 0-3. Last week, a very similar situation to what they're facing right now. They're going up against an undefeated Warriors squad, and last week they lost to that Whitesboro Warriors team 41-0. And fans at home listening, Red Rams fans, I know it's hard to listen to, but they're going to have to bounce back this week and get their season going, really lock in against a very good Indians White River team.
Absolutely no rest coming into this game against Indian River. Last time out, Indian River's two-headed rushing attack was just too much for Fulton to handle. Those Red Raiders were defeated 53-18 on their own field, and it was led by the well-known duo in Central New York, Quasi Gaddis and Guillermo Rosario Acosta. The two of them rushed for almost 450 yards combined, and they found their way in the end zone 6 times on the ground alone. It was Gaddis had 242 yards, and then Guillermo Rosario Acosta, he added a measly 199 yards to go along with that. They each had 3 touchdowns rushing, but Gaddis was also the featured guy in the receiving game. 2 receptions for 95 yards, including a 62-yard touchdown catch. How do you stop that?
Really, we talked to Nick Brodsky before the game. You really can't stop it. You got to do your best to just try to, as best you can, try to get your tackles going. This is a team obviously built upon the rushing attack. The last 2 seasons, over 3,000 rushing yards. And what they do on offense is they run kind of like a scrum formation, where the quarterback, Robbie Alexander, will hand it off to one of those 2 featured running backs and then do some of the blocking himself. 7 men on the offensive line with 2 tight ends in for blocking for this Warriors team. So they're playing like a New York football team, and that's run the ball, and even on 3rd down, run the football.
Exactly. So speaking to Brodsky prior to the game, unfortunately he'll be inactive. Normally the backup QB. He broke his collarbone last week against Whitesboro. But he mentioned this week they prepared a little bit differently. They even put some new schemes, new formations in there. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Exactly. When we talked to Brodsky before the game, he dubbed himself the assistant offensive coordinator for this one. That's what he said, considering he won't be playing. And it is unfortunate that he will not be out on the field, but from that benefit, he'll see the game from a different angle on the sidelines. Him and quarterback Adam Hannes will be talking a lot about offensive formation and maybe some different schemes, as you said. Utilize the passing game more. Brodsky's a big body. He won't be out there. But Caleb McLeod, his teammate at 6'3", 175, he plays cornerback as well. So he guards a lot of receivers in practice. He'll be a wide receiver. Get him the ball more. Maybe throw the ball a little bit more than the pitch plays they've been running.
Absolutely. Nick Brodsky also said, when we win this game, I'm going to take credit for all the play call.
Absolutely.
All right, so you're coming off a shutout if you're Jamesville-DeWitt. What do you do in this one? What is something that the players or the coaches said they need to do better in order to compete and hopefully win this football game?
The mantra for, pretty much every team, the mantra is don't shoot yourself in the foot, but especially for an 0-3 football team. The margin of error is slim to none against this Indian River Warriors team. You can't shoot yourself in the foot. Any penalties, any fumbles will just go against the disadvantage that you may already have in terms of your play call and your talent. So if you shoot yourself in the foot, you might as well already sum it up as a loss if you're Jamesville-DeWitt.
Exactly. It's not like last week against Whitesboro, where Whitesboro's going to bully run you. They're bigger, they're stronger, and that's how they win football games. This team is built similar to Jamesville-DeWitt. It's a lot of athletes. Quasi Gaddis, Jaden Henhawk, Guillermo Rosario Acosta, his older brother Felix Rosario Acosta. So it's a lot of athletes, a lot of playmakers out on the field for this game, Chris, and we're going to see if we can have a bit of a ball game here. Homecoming, everyone's amped up. The crowd out there, it's a whiteout here in Jamesville-DeWitt. And kickoff is going to be coming up shortly. So we're going to take a quick break here. Once again, I'm Jacob Kronberg alongside Chris Sacchi. You're listening live on CNY Stream. We'll be right back with some Red Rams football. And we're back here in Jamesville-DeWitt. Once again, we're live on CNY Stream. I'm Jacob Kronberg, sitting alongside Christopher Sacchi. We're about to get underway here. It's the Indian River Warriors at the Jamesville-DeWitt Red Rams, and they're out there doing the kickoff right now. It's the captains for the visiting Indian River Warriors. You have game captain Nevin Tanner, and then the usual captains Quasi Gaddis, senior Felix Rosario Acosta, and Aiden Lefebvre. And for the Red Rams, you've got Adam Hannes, Kelvin Hunn, Zach Goodson, and Steve Baker, the big O lineman. And we're about to get underway. One last huddle around Coach Eric Ormond for the Red Rams, and we're about to get going, Chris.
Yeah, let's get, I'm very excited. Beautiful day for football as we get the kickoff going. Jamesville-DeWitt coming in at 0-3. The Warriors, of course, coming in at undefeated 3-0. But at this point, records are thrown out the window, especially at homecoming night. The crowd is into it, and we're ready for some football here at Jamesville-DeWitt.
Anything can happen. That's what everyone always tells you. And that's the way it is in high school sports. There's no guarantee. It's one game. It's what happens on the field now. It's not what happened last week. That 41-0 loss to Whitesboro for JD, out the window. They're focused on this Warriors team in Indian River.
You have to throw it out the window if you're Jamesville-DeWitt. You can't let these losses pile up on your mind, especially when you go down early. When you're on losing teams, you think, oh, here it goes again, another loss. You can't think like that if Jamesville-DeWitt. Come attacking every time, and you're right. Anything can happen, especially on your home field.
Absolutely. It's going to be JD kicking off to Indian River. It's Max Churko doing the kicking duties for JD. They're kicking right to left in this one. And JD's dressed in those red uniforms with the gray bottoms, gray lettering, and the Jamesville-DeWitt Red Rams red helmets. For Indian River, you've got the Carolina blue helmets with the white uniforms and navy blue bottoms. And let's get underway. Churko lining up the ball for the kick. And nobody too far back for Indian River to receive. Churko not known for the biggest leg in the world.
5 up front on the kicking return team for Indian River. So they've looked at the film. Jamesville-DeWitt doing a lot of squib kicks this season. So they've looked at that in the film. They're adjusting accordingly.
Absolutely, Chris. And we're about to get underway. Churko stepping back. 12 minutes on the clock in high school. And week 4 high school football is underway in Jamesville-DeWitt. Once again, they're kicking right to left. They're going to kick it. It's almost a one-handed grab there by Ethan Gentry. The ball's going to be down at the Indian River 25.
That kick, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Jacob. That kick did its job. Trying to get a one-handed catch, but it falls on the ground, and all Gentry could do was fall right on top of it. So Indian River will start about on the 20-yard line.
20-yard line, and we're going to see our first look at star running back Quasi Gaddis. And on the first play of the game, he's going to line up at wide receiver. You've got Rob Alexander under center. And you've got Jaden Henhawk in the backfield, normally the third running back on this team. Alexander looks back. He finds Quasi Gaddis in the flat. Gaddis breaks to the sideline. He's got a few Jamesville-DeWitt defenders around him. They knock him out at the 50. And just like that, the number 1 running back gets a 30-yard reception to start the day.
And only the 14th pass attempt all season by Indian River. Look at that. Different look to start it right off here instead of just a normal carry.
Absolutely. A different formation than we're used to seeing. It's usually the scrum formation, and we're going to see it right here. Quasi Gaddis split to the left. It's Henhawk directly behind, and a flag on the play already. It's going to be a false start on Indian River. And it's it's going to be offsides, Jamesville-DeWitt. Not a common penalty you see from the defensive end, especially on the second snap from scrimmage, Chris.
Well, we said it before the game. You can't shoot yourself in the foot in the first drive. Jamesville-DeWitt has already done that.
Yeah,
can't afford to do it.
It's going to move the ball for the Warriors into Jamesville-DeWitt territory. They're going to line up in that bunch formation. You got Henhawk in the backfield. Alexander's going to pitch it down the outside. That's Rosario Acosta. And that's another 20-yard play, and it's big play after big play for Indian River.
And more like what they've been doing all season in that scrum formation. Quarterback, Rob Alexander, hands it right off to one of his running backs and then does some of the blocking as well as the other 7 men up front in the offensive line, a 2 tights formation.
Absolutely. That's Guillermo Rosario Acosta on the carry. His older brother Felix is one of the captains on this team. And now you're going to see Henhawk and Quasi-Gaddis line up in the backfield. Alexander under center. The short handoff, that's going to go to Henhawk. He's up the middle, tackled by Jamesville-DeWitt defender. That was Luca Iacampo on that one. And that's a 5-yard rush for Indian River, and they're chugging along already in the red zone. They're going to have it at the JD 19 for this next play.
Well, JD, you don't love to see a 5-yard game, but this has been better than what they've done so far, so good tackling up front.
Absolutely. It's marginally getting smaller. Went from 30 to 20 to 5. We've got Henhawk in the backfield. That's a handoff to Rosario Acosta again. He's brought down. It's going to be, depending on the spot, possibly a first down. The spot's going to give them the first, and it's going to be another 1st and 10. That's the 3rd first down on the opening drive for the Warriors.
Yeah, defensively for Jamesville-DeWitt, you got to stack the box. If this is the team in the scrum formation, you know they're going to run the ball. That first play is passing, kind of mix it up a little bit, though.
Absolutely. They're going to spread Nevin Tanner out wide to the right. It's going to be another hand of the fake. It's a pitch to Quasi-Gaddis, the spin, and it's a shoestring tackle by number 24, Evan Doherty. And that's a big stop there, because if Gaddis gets into open space, it's game over.
That's absolutely right. Doherty, great tackle to get him right around the line of scrimmage and prevent him from breaking loose. That's the key for Jamesville-DeWitt. If you can get some of these running backs, like Acosta, like Gaddis, in the backfield or close to the line of scrimmage instead of before they get out in space, you'll be all the better off for it, maybe able to get some stops. Yeah,
that was Quasi-Gaddis' counterpart, Evan Doherty. He's also, you're going to see him a lot at the running back position for JD. Tenhawk in the backfield. That's going to be the handoff to Rosario Acosta. He's going to take it up the left side, breaks one tackle. He's eventually brought down, and I think that's Evan Doherty once again going all the way across the field to knock down Acosta.
Doherty, that starting running back, showing his speed that he's able to get around the field and make another great tackle. Once again, preventing these very fast players from getting out into space. Jamesville-DeWitt will be doing well on defense if they can get these guys out from space and
We've got
from
the
the
bunch
backfield.
Formation here. It's Jaden Henhawk in the backfield. The snap, it's a double reverse. That's going to be Quasi-Gaddis. A very short gain, but it's going to be a 4th down and 7 for Indian River.
It looks like Caleb Patterson pumped up on the field right now.
Absolutely a lot of energy going here, especially from the Jamesville-DeWitt bench. Small team getting really into it early, and that's what you have to do if you want to succeed against a powerhouse like Indian River, who looks like they're going to go for it on 4th and 6. You have Henhawk lined up back. Quasi-Gaddis split to the right, just like the opening play. He's got to be the #1 target here. Alexander looks back. He's got Rosario Acosta. That's going to be a first down, maybe more. Touchdown, Indian River. And on a 4th and 6 play, they go to the air, find running back Guillermo Rosario Acosta, who records his 10th touchdown, his 7th touchdown of the season. My bad, Chris.
It's all good. Rob Alexander showing that he can throw the ball. Only his 15th attempt this year throwing the ball, but that one's right on the money. Acosta does the rest, breaking a few tackles into the end zone.
Yeah, he's got 10 completions on 15 attempts, though, and they're going to line up for 2. That's going to be a handoff there to Quasi-Gaddis. He's going to quick hop step and leap into the end zone. No problem there. Untouched by Jamesville-DeWitt. And opening drive, it's 8-0 Indian River. But now we're going to get our first look at quarterback Adam Hannes.
And Adam Hannes in this triple option offense, a lot of motion. Maybe we'll see some different schemes. Last week, there's either Ryan Vespi, Zach Goodson, some Kelvin Hunn, always in motion from the wide receiver position on the inside. We might be still a little bit different this week because the pitch play is not totally working out for Jamesville-DeWitt. But either way, they'll get their athletes out in space, just like Indian River wants to do with theirs as well.
Yeah, you may not see them work quite as fast as Indian River did. That drive only took 3 minutes and 10 seconds for the Warriors to march 80 yards down the field. And it was the guys that you expect from him. It was Rosario Acosta and Quasi-Gaddis. No one else touched the football.
Looks like Zach Goodson, the deepest on the kickoff return team, to return this one.
Absolutely. Zach Goodson, one of the biggest playmakers on this team, did not get the ball as often as you'd like to see last week if you're head coach Eric Ormond. That's got to be a staple point today, is getting him the ball every chance you get. And if you're Indian River, you got to assume you're kicking the ball away, probably to Pat Murad, who's also very talented but doesn't have the speed Goodson does. And that's just what they do. Lofted in the air, left to right. It's Pat Murad. He's going to take it up the center. He's at the left hash mark. He breaks outside, breaks a tackle. He's got a few guys around him now. and he's eventually going to be brought down. That's number 15 right there. That's number 15, Hayuga Kemp, with the tackle on special teams. And where you thought Murad might have had a breakaway, he's going to be pinned inside his own 10.
Well, it's unfortunate for Murad because he did break a tackle, but a lot of the times, especially at this high school level, you have to be careful when you're running east to west or west to east instead of north to south. You can lose some yardage even after breaking tackles, and that's just what happened here. Pins right behind their own 10-yard line.
Yeah, after that broken tackle, he ended up just getting back to where he caught the ball. And it's going to be Adam Hannes in shotgun formation. Evan Doherty lined up behind him at the halfback position. They're going to send Goodson in motion. It's going to be a handoff to, no, the fake. That's Hannes. I believe he's got Vespi up the sideline. Vespi's going to be brought down after a gain of 2. And just like that, it's the triple option to start off the day for Jamesville-DeWitt. Something they ran all the time last week, always having guys in motion, as you mentioned earlier. And Pat Murad's going to check out of the game after the first play.
Yeah, Kelvin Hahn coming in for Pat Murad. Just like I said, in motion, the pitch play, only 2 yards on this one, but that's a heavy part of their offense that we're going to see a lot today.
Yeah, the spot gave him 3, so it's listed at a 2nd and 7 here. We've got 8 minutes to go. It's 8-0 Indian River. Jamesville-DeWitt at their own 13. Hannes receives the snap. He's going to pitch that one. It's Vespi again. He's going to try and break around the outside, and he's just met by a load of Indian River defenders. And he's thrown down well out of bounds. Flag on the play, and extracurricular activities are going to penalize Indian River here.
Yeah, you saw the home crowd here for Jamesville-DeWitt throwing their hands up in disbelief, and as that flag came down, and they were right by it. A little, as you said, extracurricular activities out of the field of play, and Ryan Vespi also toughing it out with that broken wrist he suffered last week, and you don't want him to see extra hitting on the sideline.
That was senior number 10, Marion Howell, on the penalty there, and that's a big play if you're Jamesville-DeWitt. You'll take the yards any way you can get them against undefeated Warriors. And the ball's going to be spotted at the 28.5-yard line, still on the Jamesville-DeWitt side, and Max Churko checks into the game at tight end for JD.
Yeah, another receiver coming out there. That's running back Evan Doherty, more the H, more the fullback coming out of the game. Different look here, JD.
Absolutely. Vespi can't be happy with that hit he just got out of bounds, especially playing with a broken wrist. You've got Adam Hannes under center. He's going to take to the right side himself. He's got Vespi trailing behind him. The late pitch. Vespi takes it up the right sideline, and he's met at the line of scrimmage.
There's another pitch play for Jamesville-DeWitt. They like to run him. They like to run him.
It's Matthew Turner on the tackle there.
Big part of their offense. Didn't work too well last week. They did better maybe when Doherty got the ball more of in a straight set right up the gut.
Yeah, you've yet to see them run up the gut with Doherty, but that may be thanks to the fact that Jake Whitmore is sitting at nose tackle, Chris.
Yep, the freshman, the only freshman on the field today. And they said he eats weights in the weight room. He's a big guy. Only a freshman.
Hannes steps back in shotgun. The throw here caught. It looks like Zach Goodson. And he's absolutely clobbered by number 22 in white and Carolina blue. That's captain Felix Rosario Acosta. Sticks up Ryan Goodson on the hint, and he's going to have to check out of the game after receiving that blow.
Yeah, that's a captain making a captain's-like play, making a statement early in this game, totally pulling him to the ground.
Did get 2 yards, so it's a 3rd and 8, a little more manageable than 3rd and 10, but a situation we saw JD in a lot last week against Whitesboro. It'll be Hannes in the shotgun. Doherty lined up behind him. Vespi has a hole. He's going to break away a little bit. Breaks one tackle. Gang tackled there. Eventually, it's Quasi Gaddis who helps bring him down with the company of Marion Howell, who makes the 2nd tackle of the game. And they're going to be very close to a first down. And we may see another 4th down attempt in this game, and it's only the 2nd drive.
Well, that's the beauty of the triple option right there. Not a bad play. A lot of different looks. Defenders thinking maybe somebody else was going to get the ball than Vespi, but that's what happened.
Absolutely. Vespi, that pitch, that not necessarily a pitch, but a little handoff on the inside there, and Vespi broke inside the tackles instead of around. And that's the first real productive play we've had out of this Red Rams offense. And they are going to punt away on 4th and 1, taking no chances. Or they're going to call a timeout and think it over. Head coach Eric Ormond uses his first time out of the game with 5:45 to go in the first quarter. It's 8-0 Indian River, and you've got a decision to make here, Chris. It is 4th and 1, but you're in your own territory, and you're already behind.
Yeah, this is a really tough call for me. I think I think the play here is to go for it, in my opinion. I'm always somebody who's leaning towards going for it. I always do that in Madden football, as I do. But 4th and 1, I think this is manageable. The field position-wise, we're on the 30, looks like the 38-yard line. So I think punting it is a smarter move, but I think I would go for it just because you need to get some momentum going. That if you do have this, you get a new set of downs marching down the field, and 1 yard is pretty easy.
It looks like they're going to send the punter, Shane Wright, back out there, or should I say backup punter. It's usually Nick Brodsky with that duty, but once again, he's out with a broken collarbone. But you think they had the punting unit out there. Maybe the timeout was maybe we see a fake. Bad snap. Shane Wright picks it up clean. The lefty boot. That one's going to trickle down, take a generous Jamesville-DeWitt bounce, and go out at the 31-yard line of Indian River. Not a bad punt there. I think that was probably the right move with the result they got.
I think it was, especially because their offense hadn't been doing too much. Definitely not the pitch play. I think it would not have gotten them the first down. So it is early in the game. You're only down by 1 score. So this is a good play to punt, get the Warriors in not great field position, see if you can get a stop.
At most high school levels, you're going to take a 31-yard punt any day of the week, especially from your backup punter.
Your backup, that's right.
But we're going to get another look at Quasi Gaddis on the second drive of the game for Indian River. Rob Alexander trots in from the sidelines, as he does on every play. It's head coach Corey Marcel with the play call over there. They're going to split 2 guys wide to the left in this one. They're going to send Rosario Acosta in motion. They're going to hand it off to Henhawk, his first touch of the game. And he's tackled in the middle there. That's number 77, Steve Baker, doing his job. And some emphatic claps after that one. That's the captain of this team. He's the heart and soul, and he needs to have a big game here.
He does. He's the leader. Line. You're right, not to cut you off there, Jacob, but he's a leader of this team. We talked to him. He's a professional out there, and he's a captain. They need his production on the line.
Back to the bunch formation for Indian River. Alexander looks to the sideline, checks his guys wide. It's Quasi Gaddis, and a flag on the play, our second one of the game already. That one's going to be a false start on Indian River. That'll push them back 5 yards. And number 6, Jared Colbert's going to check out of the game for number 7, Ethan Gentry.
Great opportunity there by Jamesville-DeWitt. You see their players on the line clapping their hands. They love any disadvantage they can take advantage of.
Absolutely. There'll be a 2nd and 11, 2nd and 12 on this one for JD. They're going to drop a few guys back. They're in motion. That's going to be Rosario Acosta. He's going to break up the middle. He's got some space. He's got nobody in front of him. He's got Goodson chasing him. He's at the 30, the 20, the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Indian River. Once again, Guillermo Rosario Acosta does the job, and he's going to take that one 71 yards to the house, Chris. And it's a repeat of last week early on for Indian River, where they had 7 touchdowns of 50-plus yards. There's the first one of the day.
Yeah, what a run there. Rosario Acosta, just, a different look here by the JD defense. They had some guys drop back and then all rush in. But when you miss those tackles early, when you stack the box, it means nobody's back in the secondary to help out the run game. And Rosario Acosta won the foot race by everybody else on JD and scored for 71 yards.
Nearly untouched going all the way across the field. And you can't win football games like that if you're JD. Indian River lined up for 2 again. They're going to hand it off to Jaden Henhawk. He's fighting his way, goes with second life, and we're waiting for the call from the officials. It's going to be no good on the 2-point conversion, but it still remains 14-0. So 2 touchdowns, you make 1 2-point conversion, you miss the other. It's just like kicking extra points, Chris.
Exactly. It's still a 2-score game, but a good stop by JD there on the 2-point conversion. Mitigate the damage as much as you can, and that's how you do it.
Absolutely, and another quick drive for Indian River, though. That one under 3 minutes. Clearly, it took 3 plays. And it was Guillermo Rosario Acosta, 71 yards to the house. And you just you stack the box initially, you drop back, and then you blitz from the outside from the defensive end position. It was Shane Wright blitzing there. And because of that, it left a wide open hole on the left side, and Rosario just took it all the way to the house. And everyone on the Indian River sideline is jumping with joy right now after this quick start.
Yeah, interesting scheme by JD. I mean, a good look, but when you make these disguise schemes and disguise blitz by stacking the box, you got to make sure you're still disciplined in the tackling game. And like you said, the middle of the field was wide open.
Yeah, it was a huge block there by Garrett Decker, who's one of the big names in that offensive line. Kickoff there, left to right by Anthony Barker. That one's going to go out of bounds. So some decent field position, probably their best field position we've seen in a couple weeks. to start a drive for Jamesville-DeWitt.
You're right, and sometimes all it starts is with some momentum. You get better field position than you want. Maybe your first play goes for a first down, and Jamesville-DeWitt, that's all you need is some momentum here, and you get back in this football game.
Absolutely, Chris. Once again, 4:40 to go in the first quarter. It's already 14-0 Warriors on top of the Red Rams. And we're going to see if Adam Hannes can put together a bit of a more productive drive here. Their best play last time was the 7-yard Vespi run and then the 15-yard penalty thanks to a personal foul by Howell. Hannes lined up in shotgun. He's got Doherty behind him. He's going to drop back. Doherty lays a big block. He's going to go deep to Pat Murad. Murad leaps up. He comes down with the ball. What a catch there by wide receiver Pat Murad.
Wow.
Leaps over Marion Howell and makes the play of the day thus far.
Look at that. Pat Murad, before the game, you said they have to feature him more, and they did just that. Deep down the sideline, Murad in the X position closer to us here in the booth. What a play over the bigger defender.
You knew you had to feature him week 1, 7 catches, 136 yards, 2 touchdowns. Last week, he didn't see the ball once. Evan Doherty rushes up the middle. He's going to be brought down by number 33, Joey Martin there. And we're underway, and they're on the verge of scoring now for Jamesville-DeWitt. And all it took was that big play by Pat Murad. And what a throw by Adam Hannes.
Absolutely. That one spiraling all the way. A beautiful pass. Something you see in a movie right there. And just like that, good field position and some momentum gets him in opponent territory.
Keep note of Joey Martin, though, the defensive tackle for Indian River. He had 12 tackles last week. Hannes, shotgun again. He's going to find Murad. The ball's down. It's on the turf. Maybe a fumble or an incomplete pass, waiting for the ruling. And they're going to call it a fumble. They're going to say Murad had the ball and dropped it. The ball went to the turf, and Indian River was all over it. And just like that, the great drive that JD was putting together is put to a halt. And Indian River's offense coming back on the field. The JD coaches, Eric Orman and Andrew Coddett, very upset with that call. Didn't seem as if Murad ever had possession and made a football move is the rule.
That is the ruling, and coaches and fans here very upset, and understandably so. The call made early, too. I didn't think he caught that ball, Murad, but
then again, what is a football move?
Yeah, I mean, that call has been unclear at every level of football. So.
And once again, it's going to be Indian River after the JD drive stops short. He's going to hand it off to Quasi Gaddis. He's going to be brought down up the middle. That's Max Churko on the tackle. And Gaddis, the feature back, if you call him that, really hasn't had any opportunities to show off that breakaway speed like Rosario did last drive.
Yeah, Rosario really showed us something, but you're right. Gaddis hasn't gotten out in space as much as we've seen him. Had a pretty good run earlier, but nothing huge. Good run stuffing by JD's front line.
Yeah, that was only a 2-yard gain there, so JD will have the ball at their own 20-yard line once again for the second time in a row. This is where they began from Rosario Acosta's big run. But it's Henhock in the backfield, and another flag when they're lined up in the bunch formation. It's going to be our second false start of the game for Indian River, and head coach Corey Marcel can't be happy with his team doing this.
Yeah, especially this formation is really with all these guys up front, seven guys up front in this current formation. There is more of an opportunity for false starting because, of course, you have so many guys on the line, but you still have no excuse for it.
Not at all. The clock is about to hit 3 minutes left in this first quarter. They're going to send Quasi Gaddis in motion. Alexander drops back. He's got number 7, Ethan Gentry, and he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage, maybe behind the line of scrimmage, by just a gang of Jamesville-DeWitt players. That's number 77, Steve Baker. And Kelvin Hunn coming in from corner on the tackle there. And that's what you like to see if you're Jamesville-DeWitt. That's going to knock them down to a long third down here. It's going to be 3rd and 14 for Indian River, and you may have to see them go to the air here.
Yeah, they're going to have to drop back, which is what they're not used to doing on offense. Jamesville-DeWitt really sticking it to him. A little extra motivation after that questionable call.
Absolutely. They're going to split wide. That's number 6, Jared Colbert split wide. Rob Alexander's going to hand it off. That's Guillermo Rosario Acosta again. He's got one man to beat. That's going to be Kelvin Hunn who brings it down again. And it's going to depend on the spot. We may see the chains coming out before this 4th down. They're going to rule him down half a yard short of the first down. At the left hash mark, they'll take the ball. And we may see the chains brought out. The refs discussing the call here and discussing the spot of the ball. But that was a big play on 3rd and 15 to hand the ball off. It's not something you see very often, but I guess when you got a back like Rosario Acosta, he's probably the guy you want the ball in the hands of.
Like I said, they're going to run the ball no matter what down it is. And on 3rd and 14 there, they convert on the first as it is official, a first down for the Warriors. And getting back into their formation, the Shane's crew confirming it is a first down. Back in the scrum formation for the Warriors.
Absolutely. Alexander looks to the sideline for the play call here. They did grant them the first down. That's going to be a handoff here. It's Quasi Gaddis. He'll be brought down by Evan Doherty after a short gain of about 2.5 yards. And they've really contained Quasi Gaddis early on. You can't ask for more against the 2-time Central New York Player of the Week in 3 weeks thus far this season. But it's Rosario Acosta who they've been unable to hold in check at all.
You're right. You know, they have Gaddis on their mind all week. But Rosario Acosta out-rushing him so far. Getting hats to the ball against Gaddis, but unable to do that against Rosario Acosta.
Well, the coaches over at Indian River told us today, Quasi's more of a breakaway speed guy. He really is not even on the leading rushers list. That's Henhawk up the middle. He's got a few guys to beat. He's going to be tackled by Kelvin Hunt and Max Churko just across the 50-yard line. But that's another big run. This time, Jaden Henhawk, and it may be a 3-headed monster that we're starting to see for Indian River.
Absolutely. I mean, Indian River has a ton of different looks they can get. Even Hyuga Kemp, he's got 4 rushes and 41 yards. And Nico Bryant, 2 touchdowns on the year. So they have guys all over, up and down the roster that are threats.
Yeah, the clock passes a minute here, so it's going to tick down. Running clock after the first down. This ball spotted at the 50-yard line. You've got number 9, Nevin Tanner, split wide to the left. Jaden Henhawk and Quasi Gaddis in the backfield. And it's going to be a fake. Rob Alexander's going to take it himself to the left side. He's got the first down and more. He's on the sideline. He's going to be tiptoed out of bounds as Kelvin Hunt was approaching him. But that's a 16-yard run for quarterback Rob Alexander, who really hasn't had much action on the ground thanks to his 3-headed monster at running back.
Well, look at that. Sometimes you do have to do that because a lot of this offense is faking, just like Jamesville-DeWitt is faking. And to keep up those fakes, you got to have the quarterback run it at least a little bit. Usually he's doing some of the blocking.
Yeah, it was a huge block there by Stone Bush on the left side that cleared out the lane for Alexander. He's going to take it here. The handoff to Quasi Gaddis. He breaks one tackle. He's on the sideline. He's being approached by Ryan Vespies. Vespies going to tackle him along with Max Churko. And they're going to bring down Quasi Gaddis inside the 10-yard line. And Indian River knocking on the door once again, Chris. 23 seconds to go in the first quarter. Clock stops, waiting for the ball to be spotted. And Quasi Gaddis may be starting to get underway.
Coach Eric Orman not happy on the sidelines. Some missed tackles there. But Garrett Decker, who also eats weights in the weight room, they call him IHOP because of how many pancake blocks he has, with a great block on that one.
So Rob Alexander's going to flip it to Guillermo Rosario Acosta. Once again, stopped just short of the goal line, and a flag's down on the play. Acosta was stopped at the 2. And we're going to wait and see what the flag is on this one. That was Shane Wright on the tackle, the defensive end for JD. Shane Wright's got some Syracuse connections, aside from the fact that he lives in JD. His brother, Jake Wright, a freshman at Syracuse University, walked onto the football team this year as a linebacker. So he's got it in his blood. They've got talent. He's the 5th boy in the Wright family to play for Jamesville-DeWitt, all playing as defensive starters. And the flag is going to be on Indian River.
Looks like they're backed up considerably here, Jacob.
Yeah, it looks like a holding penalty on Indian River. It is a hold. That's on Thomas Green, number 52. And that's going to push Indian River back around the edge of the red zone. They'll have it at their own 18 here.
Looks like a little bit of a different look.
Juan Smith checks out of the game for JD. They bring back in Mateo Santos. And they're going to let the quarter run out. We're through one quarter of play here. It's 14-0 Indian River, but they're on the verge of scoring again. Again, I'm Jacob Kronberg here with Chris Sacchi. We'll be right back with some more Red Rams football on CNY Stream. We're back for the second quarter of action here in Jamesville-DeWitt. It's the Indian River Warriors leading the JD Red Rams 14-0, and they're knocking on the door once again. It's going to be second and goal at their 17-yard line. They're going right to left now. Rob Alexander hands off. That's a Henhawk up the middle, and he's just gang tackled at the line of scrimmage. That's number 88, Juan Smith, accompanied by Steve Baker, who's seen a lot of action early on in this defensive line.
Absolutely. When you see Steve Baker get to the ball, you almost can guarantee that the running back will be tackled for not much of a gain. But that's the problem. If Steve Baker and some of these other interior linemen, Caleb Patterson, don't get to the football, it could be a long run.
Yeah, you got Quasi Gaddis split to the left here. Alexander's going to take – it's a flea flicker. He's going to throw that ball up. Incomplete pass. That play was just a disaster from the start. They almost dropped the initial pitch, was Rosario Acosta, flipped it back to quarterback Rob Alexander, and he was under so much duress, he really should have just thrown that ball away.
Interesting play call by Indian River. A bit risky for, Stickton was working a little bit. A double pitch. Looks like Alexander pitched it to one of his running backs, and the running back pitched it back to him, and then Alexander threw the ball again, but he was under quite some duress. That could have been picked off.
And we're going to see our first field goal attempt of the day. Anthony Barker is in charge of the kicking duties for Indian River. And there seems to be a stoppage of play. Eric Ormond having some conversation with the officials. Maybe upset about the spot or about a no call there on a hold, I believe is the dislike. And there's a clock issue as well, which should be 11:12 to go in the second quarter. The clock's either gone out, but it says 1:12. They're going to fix it there and add a little bit of time on the clock, actually, Chris. 11:24. And it's Anthony Barker in for the kick for Indian River, trying to make it a 17-0 lead. We're only 36 seconds into the second quarter. Snap is high. The ball's on the turf. Tackled. And the kick clearly not off. Recovered by Barker, but that was just a poor snap there by Hunter Frazier. And it's going to be Red Rams football. They caught a break there, Chris.
They did catch a break. It saves you 3 points. Still only a 2-score game. And after that great throw to Pat Murad, maybe you do more of that on this offensive drive. The pitch play is not working as well. Get some of the receivers going. Caleb McLeod, get him out there, either at X or Z. And there he is at X, closest to us here in the booth, split out wide.
McLeod split wide to the right. It's Murad to the left. Spread formation, Doherty in the backfield. They're going to send Goodson in motion. They're going to hand it to Doherty up the middle. He breaks a couple tackles. There's a flag down. He's going to be brought down just after the 40-yard line. And that's number 50, Franco Jones-Ortiz, with the tackle in the secondary there. But that was a nice burst and a nice first play for JD there.
We'll see what the flag is, but running it right up the middle was beneficial in that situation instead of this motion pitch option.
Well, that 12-yard rush is going to be erased and take another 10 away from it. It's going to be holding, it seems like. The penalty is on Jamesville-DeWitt.
Yeah, it's a tough call right there for holding after a nice run. One of Doherty's best runs of the day, but that'll back them up a considerable distance.
I think the call is going to be a chop block, actually.
Yeah.
15 yards on that in high school, and they're back at their own 15 from the 30. So they catch a break, they lose one there, and it's going to be a first and a lot for Jamesville-DeWitt. They're backed up. It's going to be a first and over 20, first and 22. A lot of movement there on the line of scrimmage, and another flag on the play. That one's going to be on Indian River, though, so JD will get a few yards back on this one.
That's number 7, Ethan Gentry. The motion by Goodson.
Yeah, Gentry was one of the honorary captains last week after his great performance. He's 11 tackles on the year. He's a 3-sport athlete, plays baseball and basketball, but he was just a little too antsy there, and it's going to be first and 17. They have it at their own 20. The pitch, that's Goodson going around the outside. He's going to take it to the left sideline. He's going to be drilled out of bounds by Marion Howell, who's been all over the place. Every big play, he's been involved. The personal foul, the great catch by Murad, and he's drilled a couple guys out of bounds.
Yeah, Marion Howell really been involved in this game, a name we've been talking a lot. These pitch plays by Jamesville-DeWitt, they must be averaging maybe 2 yards a carry on these. Running up the middle has been more successful. If I'm Jamesville-DeWitt, switch it up. This triple option not working as well.
Absolutely, they're going to go with a spread formation here. It's going to be McLeod to the right, Murad to the left. They're going to send Goodson in motion once more. Hannes drops back under a lot of pressure. He's got Evan Doherty into the flat. Doherty tries a stiff arm. He's going to be brought down by Alex Matthew there.
Another flag in the play here, Jacob.
And the third straight play where a flag's thrown on the field, and this game's just getting a little sloppy, and it's early on for that to be happening.
It has, but a great play there by Adam Hannes. He had, it appears to be Franco Jones-Ortiz all over him, but right before he threw that ball, right before he was tackled, he threw the ball and found Doherty for a nice gain.
Great job by Doherty there, leaking out after the block, and it's going to be a face mask on Indian River, there. Face mask's going to add some yards to the play.
Your excuse, Jacob.
We may get something going. I'm going to let you take over now, Chris.
Absolutely. So a nice play there by Hannes as Jacob gets a drink of water, collects himself a little bit. Jamesville-DeWitt back to the line. Hannes in the shotgun formation. Maybe throw the ball again here. Get something more going in the receiving game because it has worked today. Hannes' arm looking good. Hannes back. That's Goodson in motion. They're going to pitch. And Hannes leaks out. It looks like he should have pitched it, but he's going to run to the sideline. Maybe we get one or two. So on a broken play, Hannes gets some yards out of it. It looks like about a 2-yard gain.
And it's going to be a third and manageable, the first situation for Jamesville-DeWitt today. And it's going to be listed at a 3rd and 3. So maybe we see some Evan Doherty up the gut here, or even an Adam Hannes run. That's what worked a lot last week, mainly on 4th down. But maybe you want to pull that trick out earlier against Indian River.
Absolutely. We talk about 3rd down conversions being important, but Adam Hannes had 6 4th down conversions last week.
Absolutely. You've got McLeod and Murad split. Goodson fakes in motion. Is going to go back into the slot. Hannes, he's going to take it to the left, run up the middle, and there's nowhere to go for Adam Hannes. That's Austin George, number 79, with the tackle for Indian River, and it's going to be a 4th and 4 for Jamesville-DeWitt. Shane Wright trots out, and they're going to have to punt this one away.
Yeah, Hannes bottled up there. They tried to, on 3rd down, you see a lot of teams try to get the false start, do a fake snap, but it did not work, and neither did the play.
We'll see if Shane Wright can get another generous bounce on this kick. Snap a little cleaner. He's going to get this one in the air. It's going to be caught by Felix Rosario Acosta. He's going to take it on the right side. He's got one man left to beat. It's Max Churko. Churko going to barrel him out of bounds at the 22-yard line. But a big return there. But another flag is down back where the kick was caught. And this one looks to be on the kicking team most likely.
Yeah, we'll see what the penalty is. But the other Rosario Acosta getting some yards to his name as well. Pat Murad was the first to get to him but missed that tackle. Ended up being very costly. Only almost a 60-yard penalty, almost 60-yard miss right there. That's how much it cost him for Pat Murad to miss that tackle.
This one is going to go all the way back, though. It looks like maybe not. They're going to pick up the flag, it seems. Some confusion here by the officials.
You see right now Brodsky talking to Hannes on the sideline after another 4th down where they had to punt it away. The assistant offensive coordinator telling something to his quarterback here.
Absolutely, and so the flag seems to be picked up here. Eric Ormond very upset about the call. He's on the field. Hat is off. He's still screaming. That's going to be handed up the middle. Quasi-Gaddis takes it to the right side, breaks a tackle there, spins around another, and he's brought down eventually by middle linebacker Nolan Kinahan, who's filling in for Nick Brodsky. Eric Ormond still very upset.
Yeah, coach is upset, understandably so. Your team is down. Maybe it's just a draw to inject some fire into his team. That's always a method as a coach to get kind of fiery, especially when you're down. But whatever he's doing is certainly upset.
Yeah, he and Andrew caught it both a few yards onto the field. It's Alexander under center. He's going to hand that one off to Rosario Acosta up the middle for no gain. And it's going to be a 3rd and 4 for Indian River.
Good stand there by the D-line. Looks like Caleb Patterson was the first one to get to the running back there.
Yeah, a real nice stop there on the play up the gut by number 69, Caleb Patterson. This one's Quasi-Gaddis up the middle. He's going to take it. He's going to be brought down by Patterson once again, and it's going to be a 4th and 1 for Indian River.
That was a big stop. You know, after a long long kickoff after a long punt return, doing a good job of getting some stops here. On 4th down, they're going to go for it.
Yeah, and JD takes Steve Baker off the field on 4th down. And Indian River's going to reset. They look to the sideline. It's Rob Alexander getting the play. Gaddis and Henhawk in the backfield. You got Rosario Costa split to the right. The handoff to Henhawk, and it's going to depend on the spot here. They're going to call it a stop. It's going to be inches away from the 1st down. Turnover. Jamesville-DeWitt football deep in their own territory, though, Chris. We're at 8:01 to go in the 2nd quarter. Maybe they can put something together here and get on the scoreboard for the first time in 7 quarters.
That's a fantastic stop. Max Churko pumping his fist as he gets off the field. 4th down and a little bit, and they get the stop. That's huge. So now instead of a potential field goal or touchdown by the Warriors, JD has a football back.
Absolutely a huge stop there, and especially without Steve Baker on the field, you got to be really happy with the presence of your defensive line in this one. It's going to be Hannes in the shotgun. They're going to send Goodson in motion. They're going to fake it. That's going to be given to Vespi. He's going to be brought down by 6, maybe 7 Indian River defenders, and is going to get a loss of about 5 or 6. And now you're in territory where maybe Indian River blitzes and gets a safety.
Yeah, Indian River, I mean, you talk about those coaches always talking about hats to the football, gets the ball wherever it is, no matter where you are on the field. That was the case for Indian River. 7 on that tackle, and it really backs up Jamesville-DeWitt. They're close to their own end zone.
The O-line had no chance there. Indian River sent everyone. It was Ethan Gentry who got to Evan Doherty first. Hannes in the shotgun. You've got Doherty behind him. He's going to step back. He's got Gentry approaching on him. He's going to be brought down. Gentry whiffed initially. And it'll be number 50, Franco Jones-Ortiz, blitzing from the cornerback position. And that's the second dropped play in the backfield. It's 14-0 here. And on the verge of having Jamesville back in their own end zone for a kick. Indian River's really in a good spot today. 7 minutes to go in the 2nd quarter. We're about halfway through it. Up 2 scores. You got to like where you're at if you're Indian River, Chris.
Absolutely you do, and keep doing what you're doing, and especially this team that never turns down its intensity. As we talked to coaches before the game, they're still out there early getting their work in. Despite the 3-0 record, they're not resting on their laurels.
Not at all, and they've pinned a JD back. It's 3rd and 15 at their own 4-yard line. You got Doherty lined up in his own end zone. Caleb McLeod split wide to the right. It's Murad to the left. They're going to send Goodson and Vespi in motion. Handoff. Hannes is going to take it himself. He breaks 1 tackle. Shoestringed at the 9-yard line. That's number 17, Captain Aiden Lefebvre. And at least you're not in your own end zone now, but you're going to punt it away once again.
Yeah, Aiden Lefebvre, great play there. He's already got 12 tackles on the year and 2 sacks. He is certainly a presence on defense, along with a lot of other athletes they have out here on this field who gets the football.
Shane Wright backed up nearly out of his own end zone. The snap's a little high. He is going to get the kickoff clean. He gets this one good. We'll see with the bounce. It's going to be a generous Jamesville-DeWitt bounce. They're going to let the ball. It's going to be touched by Chris Parker and Zach Goodson here. Almost made it back to midfield. That's a really good punt. Shane Wright's had a good day at the punting position for someone who doesn't do it quite often. It's usually Brodsky.
Yeah, it is. He's doing a good job. And Alex Matthew returning that punt for Indian River. He really should have picked up that ball instead of letting it roll, because that was just more and more yardage against his team. Close to the 50 after punting out of the end zone. That's a great punt, like you said.
Yeah, so Indian River, Rob Alexander, Quasi Gaddis, they're going to take it over at the JD 45 and see if they can get something going. It's been a few drives since they found their way in the end zone. The last time they were there was thanks to the 71-yard run by Rosario Acosta. Maybe you see him featured once again a little more on this drive, or they continue to try and get Quasi Gaddis more involved. Gaddis is tucked tight on the left. Alexander, it's going to be a double handoff. They're going to have Gaddis. He's up the middle. He's going to be tackled by Carter Kowalczyk there. But there's a big yard right on cue, Quasi Gaddis.
Right on cue. I mean, that acceleration, I'm sitting here shaking my head at how fast Quasi Gaddis can get into 2nd and 3rd gear running. I mean, he was right out of the line of scrimmage, broke a few tackles, and zoom. Jamesville-DeWitt lucky to even get him down there.
Yeah, according to his huddle, he runs in the 4.4s for his 40-yard dash, which is just ridiculous speed at any level, let alone high school. Alexander looks back. He's got Gaddis up the middle. Cannot reach him. It's going to fall a few yards short of the completion, and it's going to be 2nd and 10. He had Gaddis wide open over the middle, Chris, and if he had him, he may have found his way into the end zone.
He just certainly could have. Gaddis last season, over 1,500 yards, 22 touchdowns. So he's a dangerous player, and of course, if that ball was caught, he was thinking touchdown with his speed.
Yeah, Quasi Gaddis over 1,000 yards in both his seasons on the varsity level thus far. As a sophomore, he saw 122 carries, almost 1,200 yards, and found his way in the end zone on the ground 12 times. It's going to be handoff there. It's Rosario Acosta, brought down by Kelvin Hunn, who makes his way in from the cornerback position. And it's going to be a 3rd and 5 for Indian River. We're under 6 minutes to go in the first half.
Yeah, Kelvin Hunn, the defensive back, captain of this Jamesville-DeWitt team, carries himself one of the leaders on this team, a quiet leader, does it by what he does on the field. And the crowd really into it here on 3rd down.
Crowd really getting into it. They're running around with the Jamesville-DeWitt flag. It's going to be a handoff up the middle. It's Jaden Hennock. He's going to be brought down, possibly. No, he drags 2 Jamesville-DeWitt defenders into the end zone. And the signal's given for touchdown. 42 yards. 24 yards, my bad. A little dyslexic here today. And it's another touchdown. Jaden Henhock, it's a different running back this time, Chris.
Yeah, Jaden Henhock given a little bit of a different look for the Warriors. And not so much of a speed player, but he's shifty. He's slippery, a football term. Hard to get tackled. And now the extra point team on the field for the Warriors trying to get 21, make it a 3-score game.
Yeah, it's Barker in on the kick. Maybe this snap will be a little more successful than the field goal attempt. It's clean. The hold is good. He puts that one up. Splits the uprights. 21-0 in favor of Indian River now. 5:26 to go in the first half. And Jamesville-DeWitt on the verge of being shut out for the 3rd straight half.
Yeah, I mean, there's another whole half to play, but in this half, unless they don't get a score here, I don't know if they'll get the ball again. I think you consider to air it out a little more. These running plays aren't working as well. Hodges is looking like he's throwing the ball well. On a cold night, ball carries a little bit less, but that can come to the advantage of these smaller receivers you have for Jamesville-DeWitt.
Absolutely. Goodson, a guy we've yet to see get a big play. It's been a while since he's been really involved, and all of his teammates refer to him as the playmaker. If they had to pick one, he's got great speed, he's got great hands, but it's just not been very successful out of the pitch on the sweep for Zach Goodson and company.
Yeah, these pitch sweeps, I think it's a factor of these other teams just watching the film. Pitch week is really a staple of the Jamesville-DeWitt offense, but when you see it so much and you run it so much, it gives a lot of time for opponents to track it on film.
And Barker's going to boot this one. Pat Murad's going to let it bounce. He'll pick it up. He's going to take it left to right. He's going to be tackled there. That's number 33, Joey Martin. And another big tackle for Martin there. JD's going to have the ball at about their 24, 25-yard line to start this drive.
Not a bad run there by Murad, but the key was holding on to the football. You see number 33, as you said, trying to get the ball out of his hands, but Murad getting 2 hands on it, preventing a fumble. You cannot afford that. You're down 3 scores.
The Warriors clearly have done their homework. They've kicked the ball off 3 times here, and not once have they put it anywhere near Zach Goodson.
Absolutely. They know what they're doing. Not going to give it to the playmaker.
You've got Murad split to the left, McLeod to the right. They're going to send Goodson in motion. Doherty in the backfield. They hand it up the gut. Doherty breaks 1 tackle. It's going to take a few guys to bring him down. That's number 33, Joey Martin again. Really involved here at the linebacker position.
Joey Martin, the lacrosse player, knows how to get around the field. Quick feet, gets low on these tackles. But Evan Doherty, some of his runs have been called back, but he's running it right up the middle, and sometimes that's what you need to do. I'd go to that more instead of these pitch plays, Jacob.
Absolutely, Chris. They gave him 9 yards on that carry. It's going to be spread set again. Goodson in motion. They're going to hand it to Doherty. No, the fake. Hannes kept it. Fooled even me up here and fooled a lot of the defenders. And they're going to give him the first down, a 3-yard run by Adam Hannes. And he's going to go over to the sideline and talk with Coach real quick to get a play while this ball is spotted.
That's a nice play by Hannes. Nice play call. In this triple option, sometimes you need to let the quarterback run. One, to get his legs going, see his running ability, but also just switch up the look. And it faked us even up here.
Fooled everyone except for Tanner Calvert. Everyone went right to follow Goodson on that pitch. And Hannes kept it. He's going to take it here. He's going to keep it once again. He's going to be met by Joey Martin and Tanner Calvert, 2 of the big names on defense for this Indian River squad. And Hannes is going to lose 5 on that play. He had no chance under duress immediately after the snap.
Yeah, Culver to the 5 sacks this season. He knows how to get to the quarterback, and in that situation, he was right there on it again.
They're going to take the huddle this time for Jamesville-DeWitt. Not as quick a pace as we've seen in prior games. They're going to stick with the spread. Once again, it's Murad to the left, McLeod to the right. Vespi in motion this time. Hottest is going to happen. He's going to pitch it to Vespi. Vespi met by Tanner Culver and knocked out of bounds. They may have gotten back to the original line of scrimmage.
Markel Scott, number 31, doing a good job. Member of the track and field team. The senior is very athletic at 5'9", 190. Fast, but also big, a great tackler. Another part of this defensive crew by the Warriors can throw their bodies around and make some hard hits.
Absolutely. That's back-to-back plays where we've seen Culver involved. We're under 4 minutes to go in the first half. 21-0 in favor of Indian River. Hannes looks back,
wow.
And he's going to be pancaked by Ethan Gentry. Oh, my Lord. What a tackle there. Untouched into the backfield, and he's going to drill Hannes into the ground.
Yeah, you saw the play call from the defensive sideline, and he was going to say you saw number 3 being put up by the defense coordinator, which means number 7, Ethan Gentry, which is the 3rd man across the defensive line, is rushing towards the quarterback. He was absolutely unblocked and got right to Hannes, making a big hit.
It's going to be a 4th and long here for Jamesville-DeWitt. They're going to have to punt it, and that's exactly what they'll do. Shane Wright onto the field, and looks like a timeout may have been called because head coach Eric Ormond talking with his team in the middle of the field.
Yeah, that was Gentry, of course, off the blind side for Hannes. No blocking there. Without a back blocking, especially, it's big in the triple option when guys come in motion. After they're near the quarterback, they do some blocking, but nobody there even touched Gentry as he was all over and lit up Hannes.
Yeah, it was Goodson in motion. He went from right to left, which just left Ethan Gentry a wide open hole, and he did not miss.
Not at all, Jacob. And now, you know, if you're Jamesville-DeWitt, about 3 minutes and change left, you're going to punt it away. Hope to get another stop here and try to get the ball back one more time for the half.
I think if you're Jamesville-DeWitt, all you want to do is prevent Indian River from getting on the scoreboard one more time.
Got to make a stop.
A stop's just as good as getting the ball back. They get the ball at half. Snap, that one's bounced, picked up cleanly by Shane Wright, though, and that's going to be a good kick. He's going to get it over midfield. That's number 26, Alex Matthew, on the reception, and a little bit of a scuffle there. He broke one tackle. Eventually, Kelvin Hunn will bring him down, and Indian River's going to take over for the 2nd straight time at the 50-yard line.
Yeah, that was a nice tackling by Jamesville-DeWitt. Kelvin Hunn got over there. Max Churko getting some bodies to the punt returner because that was a huge issue, of course, before where Matthew brought it all the way from the 40 to his own 20.
Yeah, decent field position if you're thinking from the Jamesville-DeWitt side. As long as you can keep them out of your own territory, they've had much more success aside from the 71-yard run by Guillermo. And it's going to be Quasi Gaddis. He takes it to the right sideline, receives a big block. He's going to cut back to the inside. He's got one man left to beat. He's on the sideline. Churko brings him down late, just outside the 10-yard line. And that was a 38-yard run for Quasi Gaddis on the first play from scrimmage on this drive.
Wow, we're talking about good field position. Just like that, it goes away. Quasi Gaddis bobbing and weaving and bobbing his way around so many Jamesville-DeWitt defenders, getting a few good blocks as well.
Absolutely. He's yet to find his way into the end zone, which is a place he's oh so familiar.
He is, yeah, that's right. 6 touchdowns last week, if I'm not mistaken, Jacob.
That was week 2, Chris. He had 3 last week. He's got 12 on the season. That's a run up the gut for none other than Guillermo Rosario Acosta, his 3rd touchdown of the day, and nobody had a chance of catching him there. He broke right up the gut. Steve Baker was blocked big time by Garrett Decker there, and it's going to be another extra point, though. No more 2-point conversions for Indian River as they lead 27-0 in this first half. 2:48 to go. It's Anthony Barker lining up for the kick after to make this a 28-point game. Snap is good. Kick is good once again. 28-0, Chris.
That Garrett Decker versus Steve Baker matchup on the line has been huge all day. And Decker, the sophomore, of course, once again, they call him IHOP, not high ob. He's making those pancake stops, and he didn't exactly pancake Steve Baker there, but got him out of the way where he's unable to tackle Acosta. And if you can shut down Steve Baker on this Jamesville-DeWitt D-line, you're going to make them pretty vulnerable on defense.
You're going to have a lot of success if you can stop him. Him and Mateo Santos and Caleb Patterson really run the defensive line, but Steve Baker's the leader on this team.
Absolutely, and now Jamesville-DeWitt, they do get the ball. Didn't get the stop, as we said. Have 2 minutes, 48 seconds to run some kind of offense here. We'll see what they can do.
Yeah, that drive took under a minute for Indian River to score. They're notorious for these quick drives. Not one scoring drive has lasted more than 3 minutes and 45 seconds. And it's going to be Barker to kick this one away right to left. 2:48 to go in the second quarter. 2:48 to go in the first half. He's going to boot this one to Pat Murad once again. He gets a running start on this one. He's up to the 30. No, he's going to run east-west now. He's got some space. He needs a big block here. He's not going to get it, but a good return for Pat Murad, who's had himself a very good first half, aside from the questionable fumble call early on.
Yeah, besides that, he's been good even on these kickoff returns, getting some blockers there. He likes to run east to west, but this time it was beneficial, getting around a few Warriors defenders and getting himself and his team some good field position.
It was senior Markel Scott who eventually brought him down. He thought he had a lane up the middle initially. He decided to take the east to west route before breaking up the left sideline. But Jamesville-DeWitt is going to take over at their 37.5, 38-yard line. And let's see if they can get a score, get points on the board before the half, and keep holding their heads high. That one's Adam Hannes. He's going to fake it, take it up the middle. He's met by Tanner Culvert and Ethan Gentry. They're going to drag him back forward to progress, brought him back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a gain of 1.
Yeah, Hannes again on the option, keeping it. He's been doing that a bit more as of late. Now the pitch play is his choice. He can pitch it back, and we saw it last week late in the game where he wanted to keep the ball himself a lot. Now there's a player down.
Yes, Indian River played down. He's holding his right knee. Can't quite make out who it is, but when we find a number or a name, we'll let you all know at home.
Yeah, he is laying down on his back, so it's hard to tell. Coaches around him now, and that leaves Eric Orman talking to his Jamesville-DeWitt team and quote-unquote assistant offensive coordinator Nick Brodsky also getting in the huddle.
It's great to see kids in high school when they're out and injured still getting involved in the game. A lot of them just like to check out. It's like, I'm not playing. It's none of my business. But even down 28-0, Nick Brodsky very involved, talking to his QB, his fellow QB, Adam Hannes.
Yeah, Brodsky, he's a baseball player as well, but he said he still loves this. This is still tough for him to miss, but he loves having any impact he can on his team, and in this case, it's him helping out offensively.
Absolutely. That's going to be, it was number 50, Franco Jones-Ortiz, who was down on the play. He will walk off gingerly, but under his own strength, which is always a good sign if you're anybody. Never want to see anyone hurt no matter what the side, but that's a big key player coming out of the game for Indian River. Maybe they attack the left side now. They're going to send Kelvin Hunt in motion, run up the middle. Evan Doherty met a couple of yards behind the line of scrimmage. That's number 63, Chase Lynch, on the tackle there.
Yeah,
the sophomore.
The sophomore, also a wrestler. So he's very familiar with getting people down. That skill set usually translates pretty well to the football field.
Yeah, Chase Lynch, one of 3 sophomores, not only just on Indian River, but in the entire game today. One of the younger teams we've seen, and they only have 4 lowerclassmen. Adam Hannes in the shotgun. He's going to peel right, go back to the left. He's on the run. He's going to let this one fly. He's got Caleb McLeod. McLeod at the 15, the 10. He's going to trot into the end zone. Touchdown, Jamesville-DeWitt, and they're on the board. What a play by Adam Hannes, and that's a 62-yard touchdown catch and run by Caleb McLeod. And it's the first time in 6 quarters that Jamesville-DeWitt has found themselves on the board, and it took a stellar play to do it. Hannes under a lot of pressure there on the run to his right. Throws the ball. Caleb McLeod, what a play, what a catch, Chris.
Yeah, 62 yards. I was thinking right before this, Hannes has been throwing the ball well. McLeod's a big body. Get him the ball. And finally they have, and they did it just as well as they could have, a touchdown. And the extra point goes through as well. It's now 28-7. Jamesville-DeWitt finally on the board.
That was Pat Murad with the extra point, the other wide receiver on this JD squad. And it's electric in the crowd now on the Jamesville-DeWitt side. The fans going nuts. As I said, it's been a while since they found their way in the end zone. And if you're Eric Ormond, if you're Adam Hannes, anyone on this Jamesville-DeWitt sideline, it's got to be a real nice feeling to see a 7 under the home spot instead of a 0.
Absolutely, and going into halftime, this is huge in high school football. A lot of it's about mentality and how you face the game. And yes, you're down some scores, but you go into the locker room back with your squad, and you've gotten at least a point on the board. And if you get a stop here, that makes it even sweeter. Some positive momentum to try to turn it around come second half.
Yeah, Caleb McLeod did not even have a catch last week against Whitesboro. That is his second touchdown grab of the season. He had a 20-yard catch against Susquehanna Valley week 1. And McLeod not only has good coaching at Jamesville-DeWitt, he's got a good coach at home. That would be his father, Kim McLeod, who is the cornerback coach over at Syracuse University. And they're doing pretty well over there. On their way to a 4-0 start this season, they're leading UConn by a wide margin here today, 41-21. And clearly he was taking notes from Dad.
Absolutely. Good Syracuse going up, getting their way to a victory. Let's see if Jamesville-DeWitt can turn it around and get themselves to a victory too.
Max Sherko going to squib one from left to right. It's going to be picked up by Ethan Gentry, and he barrels through Pat Murad there. He gets just across his 40-yard line. He'll take it up to 42 to start this drive. You've got a minute 30 left if you're Indian River, and if you've been watching any of this game, if you watched any Indian River football, that's plenty of time for the Warriors.
That is plenty of time. Last time they took them, around a minute? That's all it took for them to score last time. I mean, a lot of times you think this is a passing situation, but with the backs you have, Gaddis, Rosario, just give them the ball. See what happens. Worst case, you don't score and you still get into the locker room up big.
Rob Alexander is going to check the sideline. The coaches call him Bobby. Bobby looks over to the sideline. He's under center in this one. He's going to keep it himself. No, hand it off. The ball's on the turf. It's going to be recovered by Jamesville-DeWitt, and they're going to get the ball right back on the Indian River sideline. The momentum clearly going with the Red Rams now.
Yeah, Kelvin Hunt making that play. Looks like a miscommunication between quarterback Bobby Alexander as well as it looks like Evan Gaddis. Didn't know where the ball was going, where it was being handed off to, but Kelvin Hunt picking up the ball. The captain making a play for his team, and they have the ball back on offense.
Yeah, Rob Alexander tried to run and give that first block before he even let go of the ball on the pitch, and it just got jumbled there. It's on the turf. JD has the ball at the Indian River 39-yard line. Hannes in shotgun formation. He's got Joey Martin's going to take him. A flag down on the play. Hannes brought down a yard behind the line of scrimmage. Smart move there because Joey Martin was ready to strip that ball if Hannes tried to release it.
Absolutely. Good play by Hannes not to get rid of it, because if he would have, it would have been called a fumble. Now, flag is down. We'll see what happens, but Jamesville-DeWitt, you hear the crowd into it right now. Looks like a false start there. Not sure which side.
Waiting for the ruling by the officials here. They have not spotted or moved the ball since the flag went down. They're explaining to head coach Eric Ormond.
And that'll be
false start looks to be the call. Yes, Jamesville-DeWitt dropped back 5 yards on this one, but they're already locked and loaded, ready to go. Pat Murad split wide to the left. He's the lone wide receiver. Caleb McLeod split to the right. He is going to jog his way out there now. The similar formation we've seen all day, but when Hannes has taken it to the air, it's worked.
It has, and they see McLeod here. And another flag down.
Yeah, a few whistles blown. I don't know if they ever started the play clock. That may be the issue. And Eric Ormond in very intense screaming on the sidelines right now, whether it be at his assistant coach, at his own team, and now he's screaming at Adam Hannes.
Yeah, we can hear it. We can hear it here from the booth. We don't know what he's saying, but we can hear some kind of yelling. He's losing it out there.
Yeah, the ruling needs to be there was no flag, it was just a whistle. They never started the play clock, so they got that going now. Play clock under 15. Hannes in shotgun. Murad wide to the left, McLeod to the right. Goodson's going to go in motion behind Doherty. They're going to hand it up the gut to Doherty. He breaks away there. He's going to near a first down on the 1st and 15, but we're under a minute to go here in the first half. They're going to have the ball at their own 34-yard line. clock under 45 seconds. They got to get going here if they're Jamesville-DeWitt. It's going to be a 2nd and 5.
Yeah, clock ticking. They got to run something here. They struggle and get to the line now.
May have to go to the sideline here for a play. Hannes scrambles to the right side, gets the throw off. That one to no man's land. His receiver, Ryan Vespi, outran the throw, but Hannes just had to get it away. He was under a lot of pressure there, but none other than Joey Martin and Tanner Colvard.
Yeah, that's a big guys on defense there. Good job by Hannes and roll out. Obvious passing situation, just get rid of the ball. Now the clock is stopped at 29.7. Jamesville-DeWitt, I'd say about the 34-yard line. In striking distance, but they got to get some plays going here with not too much time left.
Yeah, it's going to be a 3rd and 5. You expect another pass play here. It's been very successful. Hannes going to drop back. Doherty lays a big block. He's going to run up the middle, a shuffle pass. That seems to be Goodson. Goodson takes it up the sideline on the right side, knocked out at about the 9-yard line, and great awareness by Adam Hannes there, falling to the ground after a shoestring tackle, but he finds Zach Goodson with a forward pitch, and Goodson finally getting involved in the offense.
And would you look at that awareness by Hannes, knowing that he's going down and could have taken maybe the loss of yardage there, but instead gets the pitch out as quickly as he can right before hitting the ground, gets the ball to the playmaker, Zach Goodson, and now they're certainly close in striking distance for a score.
Play clock under 10. Goodson, great awareness there to get out of bounds and stop the clock. 21 seconds to go. Hannes with a throw. That's going to be intercepted by number 22. Felix Rosario Acosta, the captain, comes up big, and that's a costly mistake by Adam Hannes. That's what plagued them last week too, Chris.
Yeah, a red zone interception. That's really, really tough to swallow for Jamesville-DeWitt. The crowd is stunned. That was a quick play, a slant play, only making one read, trying to get the ball right to Pat Murad, but instead of going to score and being in the end zone, at least getting a field goal, Jamesville-DeWitt now having to get back on defense.
The Warriors are going to take over at their own 16. They're in victory formation, so they're going to kneel this one and take it into half. And the clock looks like they're going to let it run out. Both teams going to head over to their sidelines. Clock is going to run out. That's going to be the end of the first half here in Jamesville-DeWitt. But it's a little closer than some may have thought. It's 28-7, but Jamesville-DeWitt has gotten stuff going on these last 2 drives, Chris.
They have, and 28-7 now. That pick, though, vital, almost crushing. Still can't get over it here.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break here. Once again, I'm Jacob Kronberg with Chris Sacchi. You're listening to Red Rams Football live on CNY Stream. Welcome back to Jamesville-DeWitt High School. Once again, I'm Jacob Kronberg here live with Christopher Sacchi on CNY Stream. The end of the first half, it's 28-7 in favor of Indian River over Jamesville-DeWitt. We're going to give you a quick breakdown of what happened in this first half if you're just tuning in. The scoring kicked off early with a 13-yard touchdown catch by Guillermo Rosario Acosta. He wasn't done there, though. A few drives later, a 71-yard touchdown run. And then Patrick Murad came up big with a big grab. He climbed that invisible ladder over Marion Howell, but the next play he fumbled. Ball was back to Indian River. Then it was Jaden Henhawk. He found the end zone with a 24-yard touchdown rush. Then Guillermo Rosario Acosta right back again with it. He rushed another one into the end zone. Then finally, for the first time in nearly a game and a half, Jamesville-DeWitt found their way into the end zone. It was Adam Hannes to Caleb McLeod, 62-yard touchdown pass. And then after a costly fumble by Indian River, Jamesville-DeWitt had another shot, but that drive resulted in an Adam Hannes interception in the red zone with 14 seconds to go on the clock. Chris, we've got a bit of a close ball game now. It's only 3 scores. It's doable. Jamesville-DeWitt's going to get the ball to start. What's the main adjustment if you're the Red Rams?
Well, yeah, it's a closer ball game, but the main adjustment for the Red Rams, the mantra has been don't shoot yourself in the foot, and they've had a couple of those situations. I mean, I still, the interception in the red zone just before half, that's critical. And we had the Murad drop, fumble, quote unquote. That you could say that wasn't really a mistake. That red zone interception was huge. I mean, they were getting something going. My one key would be keep throwing the ball. It's been effective besides, of course, the interception. They've had some deep balls that have worked out. And Evan Doherty up the middle has been good as well. I think stay away from those pitch plays if they haven't worked as well as these other plays right up the middle and throwing the ball.
I agree, Chris. Maybe you got to throw one in there once in a while to keep the defense honest, but I completely agree. Stick to the air game. Now, if you're Indian River, 28-7, you're winning once again, 3-0 on the year. Is there anything they have to do to switch it up, or is it more of keep doing what you're doing?
Keep doing the same. I mean, keep the pedal to the metal, the foot on the gas. A lot of times in high school football, teams that can go up, especially if if they're favored, they kind of let some off the gas, some of the second players get in, and suddenly it gets to be a close ball game. That's one of the worst feelings, is your coach getting all mad at you for giving up a big lead when you really shouldn't have to against a team that you probably should be beating. So keep the mentality going, keep it strong, pedal to the metal. Because this is the team that, especially on the road, anything can happen. Like we said, still a whole half of football to go.
Absolutely, Chris. Well, we'll see what the second half entails coming up real soon. We'll be right back. I'm Jacob Kronberg with Chris Sacchi. You're listening to Red Rams Football on CNY Stream. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Jacob Kronberg, sitting alongside Christopher Sacchi, and we're ready for the second half of some Jamesville-DeWitt football. You're listening live on CNY Stream right now. The score at the half, Indian River Warriors 28, the Jamesville-DeWitt Red Rams 7, and Jamesville-DeWitt about to receive the opening kick. Still waiting for Indian River to take the field here. Jamesville-DeWitt locked and loaded, ready to roll. The momentum, even after the interception, I think, Chris, is still on their side.
Yeah, especially at home, it's easy to have some nice momentum going into the second half. They scored before halftime, which is something they got off their chest finally after 2 games. You know, the last 8 quarters going into this one were scoreless football, but now got something on the board, getting the ball at the kickoff. Maybe they can get something going here to begin the second half.
Absolutely. The air attack has been what's most productive for Jamesville-DeWitt, and it's different from their initial game plan, but that's what great coaches and great quarterbacks can do, is they can adjust.
Certainly can, and, you know, I think an adjustment we talked about, of course, at the half, throw the football more. Hannes is looking good, throwing it in the air.
Anthony Barker going to kick it away right to left. Short doesn't even make its way to Murad. It's going to be Evan Doherty with it. He's going to be brought down. He's still on his feet, churning those legs. He'll be brought down at the 30-yard line is where the ball is going to be marked. And it's Adam Hannes' turn to take center in the second half. See if it can be more of the same of how they ended off.
Yeah, besides that pick, I mean, they were marching down the field. Some nice throws by Hannes. He's looked good all night. Get the ball in his hands. You know, maybe get Goodson in the flat. We got McLeod, of course, lined up close to us, especially because the ball's on the left hash mark. McLeod's got a lot of room.
They're going to stick with the usual formation of Doherty in the backfield. Goodson in motion. They're going to hand it to Doherty up the gut. He's going to take it. He breaks one tackle, spins around another. It's going to take a couple of guys, but eventually Felix Rosario Acosta brings down Doherty, but that's a rush of about 7, and you can't ask for much more than that on the first play from scrimmage of the second half.
You really can't. Now it's second and very manageable. Doherty doing a good job just going right up the middle. His running style works pretty well of going right up the gut. Every time he gets the ball, you're confident that he can break at least a few tackles.
Absolutely. Running up the gut, and then Hannes with some scrambles finding the receivers deep has been what's worked. McLeod to the right, Murad to the left. Goodson in motion once again. Hannes drops back. He's got Goodson over the middle. Goodson's going to get the first down and a few more. The ball is loose, but Goodson should be ruled down. He will be marched down at the JD 47. Two plays of 7 yards early on. And we're a minute into the third quarter, and JD's almost over midfield.
Yeah, good. Just like we said, Goodson right over the middle. He's open, and he just turned his head right in time to catch that football. I'm surprised he did. But a great play call, and maybe get some more throwing going from Adam Hannes.
Still a 3-score game, 28-7, but you like where you're at if you're JD. It's going to be Hannes. He's going to fake it and eventually pitch it. That's Ryan Vespi, who's going to be brought down 1 yard short of the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Vespi, him with a broken wrist. Haven't seen as much of him today as we usually would. But I still give him credit with that big cast on. Looks like that left wrist.
Absolutely. Nick Brodsky described it as Vespi's got a club on his left hand right now.
Yep.
So normally he'd be the third string QB. He's not going to play QB. They don't feel confident with that cast on his throwing hand, which is his left hand. But he's still in there to catch and run. Hannes drops back into the shotgun. He's going to take the lane up the middle. He's going to break to the left sideline. He will be brought down. Barely breaks the line of scrimmage, and another flag down, and looks like it might be more of the same with these penalties in the second half.
Yeah, Adam Hannes looked like he had some room to operate there. Doesn't have as quite the same acceleration of, say, Quasi Gaddis, Guillermo Rosario Acosta does. So instead of maybe what could have been a huge game for one of those guys, Hannes still get a solid run, but that'll maybe be a yard of a gain.
Barring the penalty, it's a 3rd and 8. It's going to be a defensive hold, it seems. That's the direction in which the officials were pointing. We're still waiting for a final verdict on that. Football's yet to be moved from the spot in which Hannes fell down.
Yeah, we're waiting on the penalty here. That'll move the chains, so JD now getting into opponent territory.
It's going to be a personal foul. personal foul call. Must be a late hit on the quarterback. Has to be. Couldn't really get a great angle. It was on the far side of the field. But if you're Adam Hannes and company, you're going to take that one because now you're well into Indian River territory. They're going to take it at the Indian River 36. Hannes in shotgun. They're going to send Goodson in motion once again. The fake, they're going to pitch it to Goodson. No, that might be, it's actually Kelvin Hunt. He's going to take it up the right side. Knocked out of bounds at about the 25, and they're going to get a first down. That's the first productive sweep that they've had today, Chris.
Yeah, finally it's working out here in the second half. This time disguising it maybe a little better, not using it on their very first play. Maybe the defense forgets about it, and that was productive pitch. Maybe the first time we've seen that in the past few games where we get a first down on that sweep play.
Absolutely. You would expect Goodson to be in motion again here, or not. He's going to split wide to the left. Hannes under some pressure. Breaks one tackle. He's going to throw it. That's going to be caught. Caleb McLeod once again. He's going to walk into the end zone, high-stepping. And it's another touchdown for Jamesville-DeWitt. And it's Adam Hannes to Caleb McLeod. That connection for the second time today. It's going to be 28-13. Indian River still on top. But Jamesville-DeWitt making strides in this one. A score to end the first half and a score to start the second half. Trying to cut the lead in half with this extra point here.
Wow, and I thought, I was about to question Hannes because he had, it looked like Goodson or Vespi wide open in the left flat. Nobody there. Looked that way but didn't throw it, and then forced a tough but converted the pass to Caleb McLeod, and now they high-five in the touchdown.
Snap a little high. Snap's going to be muffed, so no kick goes up. That's number 22, Rosario Acosta on the tackle there. So the extra point unsuccessful. But if you're Jamesville-DeWitt, you still got to be happy with that touchdown. And Hannes, a great play. Got to give a lot of credit to Caleb McLeod. Definitely was not his route. His route was not the curl, but he saw Hannes under some pressure, and he came back able to make that grab and went untouched into the end zone.
That's big for wide receivers, is improvising sometimes, depending on what happens with the quarterback behind the line of scrimmage, the blocking. Maybe have to change up your route a little bit, just get some separation, some improv, some creativity there from McLeod, and then caught the ball, maybe broke a little bit of tackles, and a high-stepped right into the end zone. So now Jamesville-DeWitt, like we said, has some momentum now. Let's see if they can get a stop here and keep it going for themselves.
Have yourself a day, Caleb McLeod. 2 touchdowns already. Still 9:40 to go in this third quarter. And while they line up for the kick, a quick Syracuse football update. The Orange victorious once again over UConn. Final score in that one was 51-21. So they're off to a 4-0 start. Something that Indian River's trying to do right now.
Absolutely. Look at these 4-0. Syracuse Orange. We'll see if the Indian River Warriors also come out of this game undefeated at 4-0.
Yeah, if Jamesville-DeWitt keeps playing the way they have, though, they may get their first win of the season and hand Indian River their first loss. Chirco's got the ball on the tee. He's going to kick left to right in this one. That's a squib up the middle. Gentry's going to catch it on a fly, though, running in for that one. He's going to take it up the left sideline. Brought out of bounds by Chris Parker and Zach Goodson. And Indian River is going to start just past their own 40.
Yeah, squib kick right at Gentry there. Not trying to get the ball to any deep threats on that kickoff. Worked out well there. As long as you make the tackles, these squibs will work.
Absolutely. You expect maybe Indian River goes back to the set and the set plays they had to start the game. There's a lot of Rosario Acosta on offense. He slowed down a bit in the second quarter, but you would look to see him get the ball here. It's going to be Alexander under center. They're going to find Quasi-Gaddis. Quasi-Gaddis up the right side. He receives a big block. He's down the right sideline, cuts back over the middle. He's got Chris Parker hanging on, and Parker will eventually bring him down just past the 30. But a big run on the first play from scrimmage there for Indian River.
Yeah, Gaddis getting that separation. Maybe a little bit miffed that he doesn't have any touchdowns yet. He's not used to it. So running a little bit harder maybe coming into the second half. He tried to get another one there, but still got a pretty solid gain there.
And he's on the sidelines. He's actually going to be on the ground on the sidelines as Gaddis. Maybe the trainer's going to come over and tend, or he may just be tying a shoelace.
Looks like Ethan Gentry replacing him out on offense here. He'll get on the line as part of that two tights formation.
Rob Alexander's going to have it. He's going to hand that one off. That's number 24 there. No. Number 2, Rosario Acosta.
Who
right
else?
on cue. Once again, 4 touchdowns on the day for him.
Who else but Rosario Acosta getting into the end zone. I don't know if he was even touched before that. A little bit of that scrum formation, a lot of blockers, and it worked out. They
it's
ran that
got
play
to be
pretty
nice
quickly.
if you're head coach Corey Marcel and the Central New York Player of the Week comes out of the game banged up a little bit. Yeah, just let me send in a guy who's going to get his 4th touchdown of the day. We still got 9 minutes to go in the first half. The 2-point conversion try, good. That's complete to Guillermo Rosario Acosta. On the right side of the end zone, nice pass there by Rob Alexander. Put it where only Rosario Acosta could get it. And just like that, it's 36-13 in favor of Indian River. And we may be on the verge of seeing a high-scoring game here. 2 possessions in the second half, 2 scores. Indian River back up by 23 with 9 to go in the third quarter.
Yeah, the Indian River Warriors doing what all good teams do, and that's respond back to any scores that the other team may put forth. And if you, especially when you're on the road, it is important to respond back, not let this home crowd get into it, especially don't get the other team get any momentum. They didn't do that. Just getting back on the board here. Let's see if they can make another stop.
So Guillermo Rosario Acosta, one of the best running backs, probably would be the featured back on any other team in Central New York right now, aside from maybe Cicero North, Syracuse, and Fayetteville Manlius. Week 1, he had 1 touchdown. Week 2, he had 2 touchdowns. Week 3, 3 touchdowns, and already in week 4, with still about a half of football to play, 4 times in the end zone. That's going to be an onside kick here. That's going to be picked up, and then Jamesville-DeWitt's just going to drop to the ground with it. That was Caleb McLeod, whose hands have been of great use today. Does not want to take a big hit from Joey Martin or Tanner Culvert, and Jamesville-DeWitt's going to take over at the 37.
I'd like to see more of a feature here. Adam Hannes keep throwing the ball. These pitch plays aren't working out too great. Overall, the offense has been a little better. You know, since they've scored, it looks like they got a little bit of their swagger back, a little bit more positivity. The play calling has been a little bit better maybe as well to get them back on the board. That's 2 scores they've had today.
Yeah, it's going to be Hannes under center, Caleb McLeod to the right side. The whistle's blown early on. We're just under 9 minutes to go in the third quarter. 36-13 in favor of the Warriors. It's going to be a timeout on the field. Both teams talking it over here, maybe trying to shore up some defensive strategies, as nobody's had any luck on either side of the ball early in the second half.
Certainly not. We've seen 2 scores already coming out of this second half.
Not only have we seen 2 scores, we're 3 minutes into the second half and we've seen 2 scores. Teams are scoring quick.
They certainly are scoring at a college football-like rate. Some of these fast teams, of course, a lot of quick plays by Indian River. Jamesville-DeWitt not so much, but still scoring pretty quickly, getting the ball in the air, which I'd love to see more of.
This is an Indian River team, though, that through 3 games scored 151 points to only allowing 47. They're outscoring their opponents by 104 points in the season heading into this one. Counting that first half of play in this early on, they're outscoring their opponents by 127. So they're always high-volume offense, and it's going to be tough for JD to keep it up. That's why they've gone to the air attack. It's going to be Evan Doherty up the gut. He's going to be brought down by Joey Martin once again. Martin having a great day at the linebacker position for Indian River. He's all over the place, Chris. Whether it's the sweep to Goodson, he's there. Up the middle to Doherty, he's there. Hannes scramble, he's right there. Yeah,
he's definitely 12 tackles last week. He's either getting close to that or have already eclipsed it today. We're not even in the fourth quarter yet. Of course, he's all over the field for this Indian River football team.
Hannes going to be in the shotgun formation. They're going to send Goodson in motion. Hannes drops back. Goodson leads a big block. That pass is going to be deflected by Alex Matthew there, but a nice look to Ryan Vespi down in the flat. I think that's a good play, even with the incompletion, Chris.
Yeah, it's nice to see when he's dropping back, not looking at all these different pitch plays, not on the run, sitting back in the pocket and looking at his receivers. Let's see more of that from Jamesville-DeWitt, especially when you're down. These stages of the game, the second half, you need to look to throw the ball more.
It's going to be 3rd and 8 from their own 40-yard line. They're going to send Murad out to the left. McLeod short side on the right. They're from the right hash mark. Doherty lined up just to the right side. Hannes back under a lot of pressure. He's going to throw this one. It's going to be bounced up to Kelvin Hunt. No, Zach Goodson. And that's going to force a 4th down. But you'll take that over a sack. And Adam Hannes is going to limp off the field. Oh, he'll trot back onto the field. Actually, could we see a 4th down attempt this early in the second half, Chris?
Looks like we will not. Hannes actually part of the punt the punting team.
Long snapper today. Punt's going to be bobbled by Matthew. He's going to take it up the right sideline. A big block by Joey Martin. He's going to be tripped up just about at the 50-yard line, but that's another great return for Alex Matthew, who's had his way not only on defense but on special teams this evening.
Yeah, that big block, maybe a block in the back, some sort of penalty. The flag was thrown onto the field.
Another flag on the play. This is going to be another big return for Matthew that's going to be pulled back. It may have been that block that was given on Chris Parker on the early return that allowed Matthew to get to the sideline. Looks like Indian River's going to be backed up a lot here. They're inside their own 20 now, and you got to be very happy with that. It was a good punt by Shane Wright, who's had a great day punting the football. And to add on the penalty, that's going to be about a 50-yard kick.
That's right. You know, nice Shane Wright. Backup punter, something you don't really see pressed into duty too often. But with Brodsky out, Wright doing a good job. And now let's see if JD, Jamesville-DeWitt, can take advantage of this poor field position that they've induced on the Indian River.
Yeah, Indian River's going to take over at their own 18. So it's a 10-yard penalty. It's going to be a block in the back. And aside from Caleb McLeod, Shane Wright may be the best player on the field right now for Jamesville-DeWitt.
Certainly has been valuable.
They're going to split Ethan Gentry out wide to the left. Quasigat is back in the game. It's going to be a handoff up the middle. That's Jaden Henhock. He's going to take it to the right sideline. Breaks back over the middle. Carries a couple defenders. Eventually, Ryan Vespi brings him down at the 40-yard line, but that's a 22-yard run for Jaden Henhock, who's had a quiet but a very solid afternoon.
Absolutely, and, you know, poor field positioning really isn't much of a difference for this Indian River football team. No matter what, they seem to get the ball to some great athlete in space.
Yeah, Jaden Henhock, a fantastic athlete for this Indian River squad. Week 1, he rushed for 141 yards, and that was the same game where Rosario Costa had 133 and Quasi Gaddis had 189. So these guys get big rushes of not a lot of attempts, and he's just another one added to the list. He's also plays lacrosse, a big player, very good defender on the Indian River lacrosse team.
These multi-sport athletes doing pretty well on the field, and something else is going on here. Indian River backing it up again.
Yeah, that one's going to go back to the 8, so it's going to be a holding on that one. That's probably why Henhock had such a wide open hole. Steve Baker doesn't get beat that often, that badly, and especially even if it is Garrett Decker. Rob Alexander's going to drop back. He's got receiver down the sidelines. That was Nevin Tanner. That one just goes over his outreached hands, his outreached fingertips. Would have been a nice gain there, but it's going to be second and 20 for Indian River here.
Yeah, that's a nice play. Good play call. Look, Alexander airing it out a little bit with the arm, but probably a catchable ball. Threw the ball pretty well in stride with his receiver, but was not able to track it down.
We've seen a lot more passing attempts here from Alexander than he has in any other game this season, averaging only 5 a game. He's thrown about 7 thus far. That's going to be a handoff. That's Quasi Gaddis up the middle. He's got one blocker ahead of him. He cuts to the left side. He will be tripped up eventually by Ryan Vespi and Carter Kowalczyk, but another big run there for Quasi Gaddis. And I don't see a flag, so that one may stand, Chris.
Certainly will, and that's on the blockers being disciplined, not holding, and Gaddis trusting them. And once you get a block, you know, from a guy like Garrett Decker, it's all over. You get right up the field with a guy like
There's a lot of speed on this Warriors team. None quite as fast as Quasi Gaddis, so he's going to get that first block. But once he passes you, nobody's catching up to block ahead of him, and he's all on his own there. Motion, that's going to be handed off up the middle to Jaden Henhock. He's going to be dropped at the line of scrimmage by Caleb Patterson. And it's going to be a 2nd and 10 for 2nd and 9. They're going to mark it with 7 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Once again, it's 36-13 Indian River over Jamesville-DeWitt here in Jamesville-DeWitt. It's their homecoming night. The crowd's still very live here. They're on their feet in the student section. It's going to be a handoff up the middle. Seems to be Henhock once again. He's going to be brought down for another short gain. It's going to be a 3rd and 6 coming up for Indian River.
Yeah, the big senior, Chris Parker, would just try to back onto the field. 6'4", 185 he's listed at. Making a nice play on that one.
Yeah, set himself a good day. And 36 points on the board seems like a lot. But aside from a few breakaway runs, the Jamesville-DeWitt defense has been better than some would expect. Play clock under 8 seconds to go. It's going to be a handoff here. It's Quasi Gaddis. He takes it up the right side, pushes his own blocker ahead of him, and he's going to be brought down. That's a first down and a few. And he's just about at the 50-yard line. The ball will be marked at the 49.
Quasi Gaddis at halftime getting maybe a little bit fresher legs. He looks even quicker, maybe even more of a burst than he did late in the first half.
Good play there. Someone throws their towel trying to get off the field here. 6:09 to go in the third quarter.
Caleb Patterson, some shenanigans with his towel. Wasn't ready at the
not
time
in the
of
good
snap.
position here, and somehow they're going to recover. Caleb Patterson running into motion on defense, something you don't normally see. That was a really awkward play. Only had 10 guys on the field. Patterson got there late. Thought he was going to come off for that play. Apparently not. Ormond a little upset, but part of that's on the coach.
Yeah, part of that is on the coach, but they got the stop by, what, 1, maybe 2-yard gain, so at the end of the day, it won't matter too much.
5:30 remaining in the third quarter. They're going to send Quasi Gaddis in motion. The handoff up the middle. And another big stop. That one by Mateo Santos. Big number, 73. He stands at 5'10", 215 pounds.
Santos, Patterson, Parker, Baker all getting in on the action there. Stop that play.
We're under 5. We're just about at the 5-minute mark here. And Indian River has a 2nd and 4. You got to look for Quasi Gaddis here. Now it's going to be Rosario Acosta who's going to be tackled, looks like just short of the first down marker. It's going to be a 4th down, 4th and short, and you expect a powerful Indian River offense to go for it here.
Certainly, I think Gaddis, Rosario Acosta are going to get the ball here.
Yeah,
back in the scrum formation.
It's Gaddis to the left side here blocking. Rob Alexander's going to take, that's handed off to Quasi Gaddis. He takes it up the right sideline, spins away from one defender, eventually brought down by Max Churko, who has been met a lot with Quasi Gaddis, as Gaddis is always in the secondary.
Absolutely, and Churko making a good tackle there. Took a hard hit, that was Gaddis, but backing up and ready to keep running. I'm still so surprised every time he gets the ball in space, just his acceleration ability, his burst is unbelievable. Getting off the ball and just running.
Speed is unmatched that he has. And there's a reason he's 2-time Central New York Player of the Week. Rob Alexander's going to hand that one up the middle. That's Jaden Henhock once again. He's going to be brought down just short of the first down mark. And it's going to be a 2nd and 1 inside the red zone for Indian River.
Yeah, and Henhock getting more carries up the middle. You see Gaddis, Rosario Acosta, maybe more on the outside. Pitch type plays what JD runs. Henhock, whenever you see it up the middle, it's usually him.
Yeah, Henhock, I mean, he's 5'9", 180 pounds. He's about the same build as all the running backs. He just doesn't quite have the breakaway speed that a guy like Rosario Acosta or Gaddis does. And he's a bit more physical. It's going to be Rob Alexander who's going to throw it there. Intercepted on the far side. Taking up the left sideline. Jamesville-DeWitt's going to get the football back, forcing their 2nd turnover of the day. That's playmaker. Once again, playmaker Zach Goodson once again leaps in front of the pass attempt there to Ethan Gentry. Intercepts it, and with 3:26 to go in the third, Jamesville-DeWitt may have the momentum back on their side. They're right back on the field with the offense. No time to waste here. They're going to have the ball at their own 25. Some confetti being thrown in the air by the JD fans in the student section. Hannes going to pitch it here. That's Goodson, the man who just had the interception. He's going to take it up the right sideline. He's eventually going to be pushed out of bounds by Marion Howell. My bad. Ryan Vespi actually on the carry there. Vespi hasn't seen much action in this one due to the broken wrist, but still a very nice run there on one hand.
That pitch play, yeah, shaking your bacon a little bit, getting out of the way of one Warriors defender, making it what could have been a loss on the play into about a nice, 8-yard gain, 9-yard gain. Great play right there by Vespi.
I want to make a mark about Howell's closing speed. Every time there's a play on the sidelines, he seems to be right there, no matter where he's starting. He's cornerback now, guarding Caleb McLeod. It's going to be handoff up the middle. Ball's on the turf. Looks like Jamesville-DeWitt's going to fall right back on top of it. But almost a very costly fumble there by Evan Doherty, who normally doesn't have much problem holding on to the ball. But I guess when Joey Martin's coming right at you, some nerves go through you.
Absolutely. Joey Martin, maybe the freshman Jake Whitmore, number 64, all converging on that one. And Chase Lynch also 63 out there on the D line. A lot of big guys there, and Doherty, the usually dependable Doherty, drops the football, but to no disadvantage to Jamesville-DeWitt as they keep the football.
We're under 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. It's 36-13, Indian River on top of JD. Hannes looks to throw here. That one's way over the head of Kelvin Hun, and it's going to be a 2nd and 10. Hannes had the right idea there, but let that ball go a little early. Hun unable to get there, and that's a name we haven't heard as much of as we're used to tonight for Jamesville-DeWitt.
Kelvin Hun, yep, he's been more of a defensive player today, as he usually is, but he's quick, he's a leader, getting him the ball in space, just like Goodson, Vespi. He can get the ball in space and be effective.
Hannes going to line up in the shotgun. They're going to send Goodson in motion behind the backfield. They're going to hand it up the middle to Evan Doherty. Spins around a tackle. He's going to be brought down 2 yards past the line of scrimmage. That's Tanner Culverd with another tackle. And Doherty's been good, but it's hard to be successful every time against guys like Culverd and Martin and Turner.
Especially, all these guys, Jake Whitmore as well. And especially, maybe he's starting to tire a little bit, and maybe he doesn't have the same burst on these runs because he's getting these big hits right up the middle.
Absolutely. Same formation here. Goodson goes in motion. Murad wide to the left. Hannes looking to throw. He's got Murad over the middle. Murad makes a really nice grab. He had Gaddis on him, and there must be glue on the hands of Pat Murad today because he's climbed the invisible ladder, taking a ball right out of the hands of Quasi Gaddis. And into Indian River territory is Jamesville-DeWitt.
What a concentration catch by Pat Murad. You work on that in practice. You're not looking and someone throws the ball and you got to snap your head around. Looks like 2 people could have touched it, and we're very close to picking it off, and Murad looked the ball all the way through into his hands and caught it. What a play.
I think Gaddis may have had that ball in his hands, and Murad just took it right back. They're going to send Goodson in motion. Fake handoff. Goodson takes it off the left sideline. He's eventually going to be pushed out of bounds about 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage. That's Felix Rosario Acosta getting into the backfield there early. Kelvin Hun's going to check back into the game for Ryan Vespi.
Another pitch play. This one didn't work out as well. The problem with the pitch play is you do a lot of running east to west, and once you have the ball, defense, of course, they know who's got it. And Indian River, they got a lot of guys that can pounce. You're
not going to outrun either of the Rosario Acosta brothers or Marion Howell. Even the big guys like Culvert have some speed. You got Hannes in the shotgun. Doherty to his right this time, not behind him. He's going to fake it. He goes to the right side. He's going to be met, and Tanner Culvert whips him to the ground back at his own 40-yard line. Tanner Culvert, the leading sacker of this team thus far early on, and that's a big one there. That one hurts if you're the Red Rams.
Absolutely. You had something going, but now 2 negative plays. It's now 3rd and not too manageable. Looks like about 13 yards, maybe even more on the 3rd down.
Yeah, it looks going to be a 13 yards on the sack, I think. Seems to be a 2nd and 3rd and about 23 lined up here maybe. All the way back, the line of scrimmage, the original line of scrimmage at their Indian River 45. They're back at their own 40. Hannes scrims out to the right side. He's got Culvert coming his way again. Breaks Culvert's tackle. Comes right back. He's going to get a few yards on the play. That's Ethan Gentry plus Jake Whitmore on the tackle. And they're going to have to punt the ball once again. Shane Wright will trot onto the field.
Yeah, Hannes, to interrupt, but Hannes rolling out to the right. Couldn't find anything out of taking himself and get whatever yardage he could get, but now another punt. Shane Wright coming out.
Yeah, the fake handoff going left and the scramble to the right has been a very successful play for the Red Rams. 3rd quarter clock under 20 seconds. Now it's going to be under 15. They might just let it run out and end the quarter. Try and limit the time and the amount of plays you give this really strong Warriors offense. Play clock at 8. 5 seconds more than the game clock, and that's going to be the end of the 3rd quarter. We're through 3 here in Jamesville-DeWitt. The score 36 for Indian River, 13 for Jamesville-DeWitt. I'm Jacob Kronberg with Chris Sacchi, and we'll be right back with some more Red Rams football here on CNY Stream. Welcome back to the fourth quarter of this Section 3 Class A football game. You're listening to CNY Stream. I'm Jacob Kronberg alongside Christopher Sacchi. Teams flip sides in the fourth, and it's going to begin with Jamesville-DeWitt's punter Shane Wright punting the ball away to Alex Matthew. He's going to call a fair catch. And there's a flag on the play. Shane Wright was knocked down, and he's going to be down on the ground holding his left leg, holding his kicking leg. And he seems to be in a lot of pain. This is already the backup punter for Jamesville-DeWitt. And Shane Wright, with his leg extended, the trainers and the coach is going to trot out to the field.
Yeah, it's two trainers now. You don't love to see that. Not only is he the punter for today, taking on those duties, but a nice part of that defense. So it looks like you're going to stretch his leg out a little bit. He's able to stretch it out, which is good. More coaches converging. We'll see what happens here.
Yeah, first play of the fourth quarter here, and Shane Wright is down. You've got three trainers around him. His teammates looking on, concerned.
So now if you're the Warriors offense, you have a chance to put maybe 40 on the board here with a score. You'll definitely get 40 on the board with a touchdown. So keep that foot on the gas pedal, of course. Keep building good habits on both sides of the ball.
Well, as we've seen from the Warriors' previous games, they don't take the foot off the gas pedal. Winning week 1 against Carthage was a tough game. They won that one by 12. Then they routed Watertown 66-8. And then last week, defeating Fulton 53-18. So clearly there's no stopping the Warriors' offense when they get ahead. There's no garbage time touchdowns they're giving up. They're playing this game full. Shane Wright going to walk very gingerly off to the sideline. Can't put any pressure on that left ankle.
So now they'll get off the field slowly. The defense for Jamesville-DeWitt missing Wright. So sans Wright, they're going to have to do this without him.
Both teams are lined up, and he's still trying to make his way off the field. Officials holding the play clock. Wright definitely in a lot of pain. Can't put any pressure on that left ankle. If we get an injury update, we'll let everyone know. But he's going to head over to the bench on the sideline. First play from scrimmage of the fourth quarter for Indian River. That pass is intercepted. Seems to be Vespi over the middle.
And there's another way. That's how you get the momentum back. Your players down on the sideline. And Ryan Vespi, who's also hurt himself, looked at the play. Quarterback Rob Alexander, he read his eyes as a safety right across the middle, and Vespi caught it like it was being passed right to him. Get some positive yardage too on the interception. So now JD back with the football.
Yeah,
play after punting.
Ryan Vespi playing with basically just his offhand, able to intercept that pass as it was right to him. Alexander threw it into his chest. I don't even know where he was looking there. Not an Indian River guy really in sight, and that's got to be huge for Jamesville-DeWitt.
Absolutely. They've taken over a great field position. The ball's moved back even further. Looks like about the 11-yard line.
Looks like there was a face mask at the end of the play.
I'd like to see something here. Maybe a screen pass. We've seen none of those these past 2 weeks from Jamesville-DeWitt. Maybe it's not in their playbook, but maybe get Caleb McLeod in space.
A little fade to the corner to the tall, lengthy Caleb McLeod, who already has 2 touchdowns on the day. It's Hannes under center. They're going to send Vespi in motion this time. They're going to hand it to Vespi. No, Hannes is going to keep it. Met by 4 Warriors defenders in the backfield. And it's freshman Jake Whitmore leading the way on that one. The nose tackle goes untouched into Hannes.
Whitmore, Gentry, Joey Martin, Markel Scott, the track runner, everybody, they're bottling up Adam Hannes. And we'll see, now they're back maybe at the 19-yard line, so a big loss there. We'll see if maybe they get the ball out in the air to some of their receivers.
Yeah, I think the ball will be spotted at 17, so it's going to be a 2nd and 16 here. They do have a first down before the touchdown. It's at the 1.5-yard line. Hannes under center. Jumping there is Indian River. That's a bad snap. Hannes is going to have it, and he's just going to be absolutely barreled by Tanner Calvert.
Yeah, and that was a bad snap, and Hannes taking another big hit. You really don't like to see that twice in a row. Another negative play, and what's turned into a red zone opportunity is quickly going away. It's 3rd and a lot.
It's always dangerous when your quarterback's juggling the football and gets hit, but it's even worse for Jamesville-DeWitt where your backup Nick Brodsky out with a broken collarbone. your third-string Ryan Vespi has a club on his left hand, they would have to resort to defensive back Carter Kowalczyk, another left-handed QB, if for some reason Hannes takes a hit so big he can't go. He is going to line up once again, though, in shotgun. Doherty a couple yards behind him. They're going to send Kelvin Hunt in motion. Hunt lays a big block on Colvard. Nothing he can do, though. Tanner Colvard goes right through Kelvin Hunt and right into Adam Hannes for the third play in a row.
Wow, Colvard, I mean, he is at another level right now. 3 straight big hits in the second half, renewed life, and now Jamesville-DeWitt, all they've done is go backwards, and it looks like we'll see what they do here on 4th and a ton.
By my tally, that's at least Colvard's 4th sack of the day. He might tie his season total in this game alone. He's been remarkable for Indian River.
Looks like Jamesville-DeWitt going for it here on 4th down.
I feel in the fourth quarter you have to. There's 9:33 to go, and they're trailing by 23. Hannes escapes the tackle. He's going to loft this one up deep into the end zone. Incomplete pass. Can't tell quite who the receiver was deep. But anyways, it is going to be a turnover on downs. The pass, that was a good pass. Good air underneath it. And it was just tipped away by Rosario Acosta at the last minute. That was Patrick Murad was the expected receiver. Unable to haul that one down. He's had a great day. That's the first ball that's come his way that he has not gotten his hands on, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, 4th down and a lot. You still had to go for it. Pretty much just an attempt to score a touchdown. You're down this big, and you got to see something from Hannes there. Not a bad throw, just good defense there. But still, not the worst play in the world, especially if it was not an interception.
And that's going to be a handoff there to Rosario Acosta. He's going to take it up the left side. He's got some blockers ahead of him. He's going to get the first down, it seems, brought down at the 38-yard line. They are going to give him the first down, I believe. There's 9:13 to go here in the fourth quarter, which means only 9:13 to go in the game. It's 36 for Indian River, 13 for Jamesville-DeWitt. And it will be ruled a first down. That's Guillermo Rosario Acosta once again. He's been the best player on offense today.
Yeah, I mean, best player on the football field today, Jacob. Churning those legs, breaking through some tackles, and showing his speed. He's got 4 touchdowns in the day.
Absolutely. That put him up to 10 on the season through 4 games. A remarkable number. They're going to give him the ball again. He's going to take it up the gut. He will be stopped after about a 4-yard rush, it seems. Maybe even less. He may have been knocked down even further, so we'll see if they give him forward progress. They'll give him 2.5 on the rush. And it's going to be a 2nd and 7 for Indian River here. Yeah, it's been the Rosario Acosta show both ways. Guillermo, 4 touchdowns on the ground, over 100 yards rushing, well over 100 yards rushing. And Felix has been the man on defense. He's got an interception on the day, a few big tackles late, and he deflected that close touchdown to Murad there. It's going to be Quasi Gaddis here up the right side. He's on the sideline. He's got a few guys left to beat. Spins. He's still on his feet. Pushes his own guy. Eventually, he's brought down there. What a move by Quasi Gaddis. Had 3 JD defenders around him. Spins out of it. Eventually, it was number 53, Nolan Kinahan, who makes the tackle.
I don't know how he got out of that one, Jacob. I mean, Jamesville-DeWitt going to strip the football, but he still got a tackle.
Absolutely.
Did not do that there, so he stayed on his feet. Got a couple more yards. If it wasn't for his own defender, I think Quasi Gaddis might have been the end zone by now.
Yeah, if it weren't for Kinahan either running all the way back into the secondary on that play, there was no one else there if Kinahan didn't make that tackle. And Quasi Gaddis hasn't found the end zone, but he has had a great day. He's split to the left here. Alexander's going to have it. It's going to be a double handoff, reverse handoff. Quasi Gaddis brought down a yard behind the line of scrimmage.
Looked like Kelvin Hunt back there creating some pressure.
We're about halfway through the fourth quarter here. 36-13 Indian River on top of Jamesville-DeWitt. And it's pitch black out here now, but the whiteout and the fans still showing their pride for Jamesville-DeWitt. You love to see that at high school sports. That's what makes the atmosphere here. It's the students, it's the fans, it's the camaraderie. You've got Alexander under center. They're going to send Guillermo on the – he's going to receive the pitch. He's going to take it up the left side. Gets a big block by Jaden Henhawk. He's going to take it back up the middle. About a 5-yard gain there. and it's going to be a 3rd and 7 for Indian River.
And Henhawk, you love to see that. Blocking for his other running back, still this late in the game, getting a great block. Doesn't care about the numbers, giving his other running back, who he's really in competition for, a chance to get a big yardage gain.
What makes these teams great, though, is that it's not a competition. They just want to win. And their numbers, they put up the numbers. They're all great running backs. That's a handoff up the middle to Henhawk, it seems. He'll just be stuffed, not even tackled. They're going to roll that one on forward progress, and it's going to be a 4th and 7. We'll see if maybe Anthony Barker comes out to attempt a long field goal, or if they go for it on this 4th and 7.
Looking like a nice play there. Captain Steve Baker, Mateo Santos, both there on the stop. And now a decision to make here for the Warriors.
Yeah, it looks like Coach Marcel is going to leave the offense on the field. And I'm going to agree with any decision Coach Marcel makes. The resume on this guy, he's got a state championship in 2014. That's going to be a handoff to Quasi Gaddis. He breaks one tackle. He's on the right sideline. There's a flag down. He's got a few guys to beat. He's going to be brought down at the 3. There is a flag at the line of scrimmage. That one may be coming back for holding.
And you're right, Cody Marcel. We haven't said it yet. 96-21 record. That's superb in 13 years as the head coach here at Indian River.
Absolutely. He was an assistant for 7 years before taking over the realm here. He's got a state championship, 4 section titles, 7 league titles. And that year he won the state championship. Not only was he Section 3 Coach of the Year, New York State Coach of the Year. So there's a resume on this guy. He was also a National Class A Coach of the Year twice.
We'll see what happens here. The ball moved way back.
It is
holding
hold
on that play.
So you got to bring out the punter here. You think it's going to be a 4th and 15, 4th and 14. But it looks like they're going to send Rob Alexander back out there. And I guess at this point in the game, under 6 to go, they've got a comfortable lead of 23. They might just see what they can get.
You might as well, yep.
They're going to split a receiver out wide. That's Gaddis. Alexander looks back. He's got Guillermo Rosario Costa. Interception dropped. That was Zach Goodson, nearly his 2nd pick of the day. And that one was in his hands. And that one, they do turn the ball over on downs. And that may actually be better because he wasn't getting very far after that interception. And they'll take over at their own 40-yard line.
Absolutely. Same difference there. Maybe a couple of yards, but at the end of the day, still a very good play by Zach Goodson. Very good job of reading the eyes of the quarterback, which he's done already today with his interceptions. So he's done a good job both on offense and defensive player who plays both ways on this Jamesville-DeWitt squad. Yeah,
that's one of the big differences between the Red Rams and the Warriors. The Red Rams, a lot of guys playing both ways. A lot of guys that play over 90% of the snaps. You got Hannes, he's going to leak up the middle here. He's going to have to run this one on his own. Breaks one tackle. Eventually he is brought down. That's Jake Whitmore coming behind with the tackle, the nose tackle, the freshman. But anyway, and then you have, so the Red Rams, everyone's playing both ways. We spoke to head coach Cody Marcel before the game of Indian River. He doesn't like to have a lot of his guys going both ways unless it's tight. He said maybe you'll see Gentry get a few offensive snaps. And Quasi Gaddis, the super athlete, may be the one playing both ways.
Absolutely. That's a mixture between getting all their guys in and also keeping them fresh.
Honest and shotgun. Doherty lined up behind him. He's going to drop back. He's got Gentry coming up behind him, and it's going to be Tanner Colvard with another tackle. And he's brought down behind the line of scrimmage once again. It's going to be a 3rd and 5. Another sack for Tanner Colvard.
This Tanner Colvard, man, he's superb out there. Bringing up a sack total today, bringing up his tackles total. I mean, he is unbelievable all over the field, and he's got to be Hannes' nightmare after this game.
Yeah, that big frame, 6'2", 220 coming out of the defensive end position here. And he's just been a menace for every offensive lineman that's matched up against him this season. They're going to send Vespi in motion. Ball's on the turf on the handoff. Bad handoff there. It looks like Doherty ended up back on top of it. It's going to stick with Jamesville-DeWitt, but it's going to be a 4th and long, and you expect the offense to go for it here. With just under 4 minutes to go in the game, they trail by 23. This one may be out of reach, but you still want to see if you can put a nice drive together to end things off right.
Absolutely. It's always about building good habits, no matter the score, no matter your record, no matter the other team's record. I always want to play good football. This Jamesville-DeWitt team does not stop fighting. They're going to keep doing it here on 4th down.
Honest lined up in the shotgun position. He's going to drop back, look to pass here over the middle. That's caught by wide receiver Caleb McLeod, it looks like, but he's drilled. They are going to get the first down, though, just barely. Caleb McLeod with the reached out the ball to get the first down here, and they're going to take it at their own 45. Now Kelvin Hun checking into the game.
That's a great play there. Adam Hannes pump fake the throw, get the defenders off their feet a little bit, get them tripped up. McLeod right open, right on that first down line. I think a couple inches shorter than it would have been Warriors football.
Hannes drops back, looks over the middle of the pass. That one's intercepted by Alex Matthew. He's going to take it up the left sideline. He's just got Hannes to beat. Hannes is going to drag him out of bounds by the collar.
And that's an angry tackle by Adam Hannes. If it wasn't for him, Matthew probably would have scored. Not happy with himself and bringing down Matthew with everything he had. And I don't blame him whatsoever either. After a day where this game might be out of reach by now, throwing another interception as you're trying to get something going towards the end. So not a surprise there.
3 minutes to go in this one. Doesn't look like Jamesville-DeWitt's going to be able to pull a late-minute comeback off. And if they want to win a game this year, it's got to come down to stopping these turnovers. Or as Zach Goodson told us, stop shooting ourselves in the foot. Adam Hannes played 4 games this year. He's had at least 2 interceptions in every game and at least 3 turnovers in 3 of the 4.
Absolutely. And, the high interception, high turnover rate doesn't look great. But at the end of the day, he is tasked with a lot in taking care of this offense. I mean, he got so many 4th down conversions last week. He's got the mentality to be a quarterback. We spoke with him. He's well-spoken. He's the quarterback of this team, and he's fantastic at it. These turnover rates aren't great, but a lot of it's reflecting on what he needs to do for this football team.
Yeah, he's trotted over to the sideline to get a little bit of water. He must be exhausted after taking a beating from Tanner Colvard and the Indian River defense. Quasi Gaddis is going to take it up the right side. He's got a blocker ahead of him. Spin move. He will be brought down eventually by Chris Parker, but that's a first down and change for Indian River, and they're well into the red zone now after the turnover and trying to put more points on the board. We're under 3 minutes officially to go, and they're going to have a first down and goal at the 9-yard line. You have Jaden Henhawk in the backfield. That's going to be a pitch to Guillermo Rosario Acosta, looking for touchdown number 5. He's going to be brought down short at about the 5-yard line. It'll be a 2nd and goal from the 5 for Indian River here. The clock ticking. It's under 2:30 to go. Indian River has a 23-point lead, so this touchdown or any points here would just be icing on the cake as Quasi Gaddis checks out of the game, maybe for the purpose of not risking an injury to the potential Central New York Player of the Year. You've got Henhawk in the backfield. Handoff up the gut. He's going to be brought down after a gain of about 2. He's going to get gain of 3 they'll give him. He's down at the 2-yard line. It'll be a 3rd and goal.
A little bit of different look here. Some other guys getting onto the field. Nevin Tanner out on offense. Markel Scott, number 31, also out there. So maybe a little more of a fresh look, getting some other guys into the game.
Rob Alexander comes back from the sideline after getting the play call. We're under 2 minutes left in the game. 36-13, Indian River Warriors on top of the Red Rams of Jamesville-DeWitt. It's going to be a handoff up the middle. Waiting for the ruling. A big pile there. That was Rosario Acosta once again. Could not quite punch in his 5th touchdown of the day. And it's going to be a 4th and goal from the 1.
Jacob, looks like Kelvin Hun there in the tackle. Really stuffed that one. Gave it everything he had, and look, this team does not quit. As a lot of other players, especially at the high school level, maybe would have let that one slide. But Kelvin Hun, the captain of this team, a leader, doesn't want to give up another score.
They're going to go for it on 4th down here. It's Alexander under center, Henhawk in the backfield. They're going to hand it off. That looks like Quasi Gaddis maybe back into the game. No, it's not Quasi Gaddis. It's a new running back, one we have not seen yet. That's Aniko Bryant, the goal line back, finds the end zone there for Indian River. And that's the icing on the cake, as I said before. That puts it completely out of reach if it wasn't there already. That's, once again, Aniko Bryant scores his 3rd touchdown of the season, his 1st of the day on his 1st carry of the day, to make it 42-13. Warriors over the Red Rams. We've got a 1 minute and 1 second to go. Barker in for the extra point. That one nearly blocked, but he gets it clean through the uprights and over the scoreboard to make it a even 30-point lead over the Red Rams. This is likely our last possession of the game here for Jamesville-DeWitt. We'll see if they can get anything going, maybe end on a high note. But it looks like this is going to be, looks like you can chalk up another win for Indian River and another loss for Jamesville-DeWitt.
Absolutely. You know, as we round out this game, a lot of things I've noticed. Nico Bryant, goal line back, hasn't really needed to be used because of all these long runs by the Warriors in Indian River, but finally gets a chance to be used today just to get his legs back under him, used to that goal line situation again, because it will be back in the playoffs. And like you said, after this team's faced off last year in the playoffs, it's been a role reversal. 4-0, the Indian River Warriors, and now JD Red Rams. Both teams will stay defeated and undefeated, respectively.
We'll see. You know, one thing we can count on for the Red Rams is they are never going to give up. They're going to give everything they got, 110% on this final drive, even with the game out of reach. That's something head coach Eric Orman has drilled into his players' mind. That kicks up and away. They're going to let it bounce. Pat Murad's just going to have to, he's going to pick it up, but he's going to fall on top of it. In high school, you don't have to be touched. Once you hit the ground, the play is dead. And they're going to take over at their own 23-yard line is Jamesville-DeWitt. A long way to go if you want to score here with a minute remaining.
Yep, Caleb Patterson, Mateo Santos, Steve Baker, all coming out of the offensive line along with Hannes. Try to get something going here in this, what should be the last drive, get some good habits going as well. It's always what you need to do. Like I said before, no matter the score, keep trying until the end and try to build something for next week.
Absolutely. They're still in the huddle. They're going to break it, running a little slower here. The play clock about to hit 10. Hannes in the shotgun formation. Doherty right behind him. They're going to send Vespi in motion. They're going to hand it up the gut to Doherty. He breaks one tackle, but he's not getting past Tanner Culverd. Culverd with another tackle here.
Culverd, you talk about icing on the cake. I mean, he's just not stopping. He's an animal out there. He doesn't want any backups coming in for him. Rack up those sack and tackle totals.
Clock still running here. It's going to get under 40 seconds. Jamesville-DeWitt finally lined up for this next snap. Down 30. Hannes in shotgun. Doherty behind him. Vespi in motion. Hannes takes it. He's going to run it up the right side himself. He's going to be brought down by a plethora of Indian River defenders. Leading the way on that one was number 21, Nico Bryant, a guy who occasionally plays both ways.
Yeah, he does. You know, that goal line back hasn't gotten work today, like I said, because of all these long runs. But now Max Churko coming in on offense. So Jamesville-DeWitt also switching it up on the offensive side of the ball as well, getting some new faces in there.
Vespi in motion for the third play in a row. They're going to hand it up the gut to Doherty. Doherty's going to be brought down by, it looks like, Joey Martin once again on the tackle with some help from Quasi-Gaddis. Play clock down to 5. This one's going to run it out. That should be the game. 3, 2, 1. That's the final buzzer. Final score here in Jamesville-DeWitt is the Indian River Warriors 43, Jamesville-DeWitt Red Rams 13. It is a blowout. Yes, it's a blowout, Chris, but at least Jamesville-DeWitt was able to get on the board this time.
Absolutely. We saw some scores from our broadcast. We finally busted out the Jamesville-DeWitt touchdown call. A lot to look for in the film room for both teams coming up this week, but now as they shake hands, this one officially over.
I'm going to recap the scoring one more time for you folks at home. It all started off with a 13-yard receiving touchdown by Guillermo Rosario Acosta. He came right back the next drive with a 71-yard touchdown run. Then came a Patrick Murad big grab. He climbed that invisible ladder. Then he fumbled on the next play. That play angered a lot of people in Jamesville-DeWitt. It was a questionable call, according to head coach Eric Orman. Then came Jaden Henhawk of Indian River with a 24-yard touchdown run, followed by another touchdown run by Guillermo Rosario Acosta. Then came Adam Hannes and Caleb McLeod. That connection finally came through. Been pretty vacant since week 1. That was a 62-yard touchdown pass on the rollout to the right. Then Hannes threw an interception on the next possession in the red zone. That was with 14 seconds. That ended the first half 28-7. Early first drive of the second half was Hannes to McLeod once again, a 25-yard touchdown pass. But Rosario Acosta and company answered right back. He rushed the ball in just a minute after the Hannes touchdown. Then came a Zach Goodson interception, trying to bring the momentum back to Jamesville-DeWitt. That was followed by another Ryan Vespi interception. No scoring for a while. Finally, Adam Hannes threw a pick over the middle. Alex Matthew had himself a day on defense. And the scoring was capped off by a Nico Bryant's 1-yard touchdown run. to finish this one off. Final score 43-13, Indian River over Jamesville-DeWitt. Chris, big game here. Indian River moves to 4-0. Jamesville-DeWitt moves to 0-4. Who was your player of the game?
Oh, my player of the game, Guillermo Rosario Acosta. Who else to choose? 4 touchdowns on the day. Almost got 5 if it wasn't for a Kelvin Hunt stop. He was all over the field. Really almost overshadowed his teammate Quasi Gaddis, who could also be a contender for this award. And now it'll be a fun little race for who comes up with more touchdowns by the end of the season. But this game, Jacob, kind of shaked out the way we thought it would. Gaddis and Rosario Acosta running all over the field. You have any other picks for player of the game, though, Jacob?
So since you took the obvious choice
Of
in
course.
Rosario Acosta.
Too easy.
Too easy. I'm going to go, once again like last week, to the defensive end. And I was torn between Joey Martin and Tanner Culver.
Really, you could pick them as both. I mean, they were both fantastic.
That's also too easy. I'm going to go Tanner Culver, the defensive end. Big number 44. Doubled his season sack total today. Got in the backfield. Seemed every play. And as you said before, he might be in Adam Hannes' nightmares. Huge day for him. Huge day for all of Indian River. And Jamesville-DeWitt's going to try and get in the win column next week. Their next matchup will be next Friday, September 28th in Auburn. 6:30 kickoff for that one. Once again, you've been listening live on CNY Stream for the final time this evening. I'm Jacob Kronberg, sitting alongside Christopher Sacchi. We'll be back next week for more Red Rams football on CNY Stream.